Hell yeah. What's up, guys? Young Bucks, Old Goats, episode 91. We have a guest with us tonight. What's up, fellas? How you doing?
What's up?
Everybody doing all right?
Good.
Okay. We have a guest with us tonight, and I want to bring him right on so we can get right into it. Phillip Greenwalt. He's a park ranger, and he's kind enough to join us tonight. How you doing, Phillip?
Hey guys, how we doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
Welcome.
Thanks. Yeah.
So, Phillip, I found you on IG, and I kind of wanted to talk to a park ranger. That was the main thing because I do go out in the Everglades quite a bit, and I do some hunting. So, but then I found out, you're into a bunch of other interesting stuff, which hopefully we'll get into later. But I guess the first thing I wanted to ask is, how did you get into this profession?
So, I never thought I'd actually be in the Everglades. I'm a history nerd. I wanted to go to school to be Dr. Phill because I thought it would be kind of cool. So I was going to be a teacher, and an advisor in college said, why don't you take this internship with the National Park Service? So I was at a battlefield in Virginia, and I got to live on the battlefield, give the tours, talk to the visitors. And I realized, that's it. That's for me. Like, you get to wear the cool uniform. If it's a bad visitor, they're gone in a day. You're not stuck with them for 182 days like a teacher. And you get to work in these cool spots that mean a lot to Americans and to the public. So started that 14 years ago. In 2015, I got tired of some of the politics that go on in history parks, and I wanted a new challenge. So a spot came up in the Everglades. I figured, hey, everyone moves to Florida at some time in their life. Might as well do it earlier than later. And so they're always going to be at a nature park. I wanted to be at one of those places that is it's the only national park that's saved right now that is protecting something still living. So it's pretty cool. It's a international wetlands biosphere. I mean, it's got like 8 different international designations. So so I came down in 2015. Still can't tan. I just burn. The Irish ancestry still gets me, but I get to wear a cool uniform. I get to drive. While everyone's going east into Miami, I get to drive west, so I don't have to deal with traffic. And it's amazing to be 20 minutes outside of Miami, basically in a completely different atmosphere.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think a lot of people don't realize how different that could be. And it's not that far away. Do you mind telling us exactly which area you work in? I know I live in Redland, and not too far from here, it's like the park where you can go, and there's a station there, and then they have displays there. Is that sort of the area you're in, or you're in more like
I'm north? So the section of the Redlands is the main section of the park. That's where the park headquarters is, the main visitor center. If you Google Everglades National Park, it'll send you to that place. I manage the visitor operations at Shark Valley, so right down 8th Street, Tamiami. If you're familiar with the Miccosukee Reservation, I'm actually right in the reservation. You go through the reservation, and then you turn into the park. So there's actually 4 entrances to the national park. It's about 1.5 million acres. So there's one over by Everglades City, Naples, Marco Island, one on Florida Bay, and then obviously the one at Homestead and Miami entrances. So, it's I like it because I'm 60 miles from my boss, so it takes a while if I get in trouble, I got an hour for me to come up with an alibi before he gets there. But we also help with the airboats that are along 41. We do what we call sluice logs, so we take people out into the Everglades. We do nighttime bike rides. We do a whole bunch of cool little, and then tram tours, stuff like that.
You said nighttime bike ride?
Yes, we so there's a 15-mile loop there at Shark Valley, and rangers on full moons or meteor shower bike rides will sign up people, we'll bike them out, and one of the cool things is we'll actually lay them down on the tram road and have them look up at the sky, and it really shows how small you are in the big atmosphere of things. And then we take them up to the tower, which is about 45 feet in the air. You can actually see the Miami, kind of like the light pollution. And so you can see the difference between dark, what it used to look like in South Florida, and then what it looks like now with the light pollution coming up and down the East Coast.
Oh, wow.
On a clear day, if you come out in the middle of the day, you can see about 20-mile radius around the park. It's amazing if you've never been out on the tower.
I remember going there as a kid to that area, like a field trip that they did with the school at the time. And then I've been to the one here in Redland, and then there's one off Tamiami Trail. I don't know. It's like a visitor center off Tamiami Trail, and
That's
then
the one I manage. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
and then beyond that is where we go hunting usually.
Yes.
Out Picayune Strand. I don't know if you've ever been out there.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
it's not great hunting out there by any stretch of the imagination.
Unless you're going for pythons now. I mean, there's not much else out there to hunt anymore, unfortunately.
Is it really that bad?
Yes. To put it in perspective, one of our scientists told, we call them intern rangers or visitor services rangers, that we're allowed to tell the public that we have a better chance of curing cancer from the world than we do of curing the Everglades of the python. So it's like their native Southeast Asian environment, but there's no predators. So they're the apex creature now. So they've removed about a whole 99% of the small mammals.
What's the natural predator of the python? Like, let's say in Asia, what would be the predator?
One of the ones is the mongoose. Is very effective because they'll go after the eggs and steal them, eat them, and then that cuts some of the population down. But obviously mongooses aren't native to South Florida, and we don't like introducing one invasive to fight another invasive because we've seen that in other parks go very, very wrong. And that's, you have two invasives that are battling each other.
Yeah, Phil, I'm like 40. I just turned 44. I've been going there with my dad and my grandfather since I was 10. I remember we would see, raccoons, rabbits, a lot of small game. I never see that anymore. I see more snakes than anything else is probably what I see, and deer are less every time it seems, and turkey I have seen more lately, and what else is there? But that's probably the main things. I just noticed that it has to be the. At one point, we were thinking it was the Panthers that was taking out everything, but it's the python, right?
Yeah, the python is about 99%, almost 100% of the small mammals: bobcats, rabbits, squirrels, possums, otters. Or rabbit that we take pictures of it. And my family are easy taking pictures of squirrels and rabbits because they're everywhere in the city up there. But we don't see them anymore. It's just it's kind of sad because that's what's going to happen.
That's nuts, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I've
seen them as north as Gainesville now. There have been a few captures of icons north of Gainesville. So they're nervous about what's going to happen if we can start moving through the system.
I think we're having a little bit of technical difficulties.
Breaking
right
up
now.
a little bit, Phillip.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's not your fault. It's just part of going live on YouTube.
That happens to me every week. Don't worry. I know you're on the road and you're joining us from the road, so we appreciate it. One thing I wanted to ask, Tank, I know you had some questions. You want to jump in?
Yeah. I don't know if you can hear us. I had a question about something that the FWC ruled yesterday.
Which is?
They had that. You guys remember we had that issue with red tide over here in Florida.
Uh-huh.
It was more up north. It was more with like you couldn't keep sea trout, redfish, and snook up there like north, like Fort Myers, Naples, more on the west coast. red tide was maybe 2 years ago, I think, when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then now they just opened it up again, June 1st, where you can
Fish.
harvest them. Yeah, keep them. And I don't know. To me, I think it's way too soon to allow that. I just wanted to hear his opinion on that. Maybe he has a little more insight on it.
How long does it take those fish to like mature? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have Phil back with us in a few minutes as he works out the internet connection. He is on the road joining us, so
which we do appreciate him. There he is.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Oh, did we get him back? I think he's coming back.
Hopefully.
Shout out to, we got a couple people in the chat. Freedom Yukon, Kevin. We got some of the Senex in the chat. Kevin and Hector. Que Dios te bendiga. Let's see. I think we're trying to. There we go. We got Phil back.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I don't know. The computer just wanted to try to update on me or something. I'm not.
It's all good, man.
It's all good.
So I was saying we had that issue with red tide in the Southwest, and yesterday FWC made that rule to take out that executive order on the citra, redfish, and snook. What do you think about that? Do you think that was a smart decision? Do you think it's too early?
So that's a little beyond my pay grade. So we actually I had not even heard about it because with the state it trickles over to our public affairs first, and then they disseminate it to us, being a federal agency. So we are told not to comment on any of the state things that are happening with FWC until it clears the Department of Interior's public information affairs. So they want to see how it lines up. So right now the big issue is we're worried about we're just embarking on a big restoration program to raise part of the 10 Miami Trail, and it's a joint effort of about $70 to $90 million per year. We're about to start the next 3 phases. Wow. So the park is very concerned about making sure that we play nicely with the state and so forth. I could talk to our public affairs and have a answer to you, but it wouldn't be. So you probably want to answer the phone right now at 10:45.
No, it was more to see your opinion, to see if you had any, if you had anything that you like. For me, I think it's too early. I think give it maybe another year to let that regulate itself. I think it was a little harsh. I'm a fisherman, so. I'm a catch and release type of guy too.
I mean, I know just for comparison's sake, we're still learning things about what came into the system after Irma in 2017 with their wind patterns and what she introduced. And I mean, we're 4 years down the road. So I think sometimes, unfortunately, we want to see science and these results like this. What's happening? Is it good? Is it bad? This and that. And I mean, science, unfortunately, takes a while to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I think that's we unfortunately in this day and age, we don't want to. We struggle with patience and so forth. And so, and people want answers now. And I think that's what's happening in the larger spectrum is what can we do now? And especially you add the pandemic on top of it, and tourism is down across the board. And then you want people to come back. You want everything to be ready to rock and roll again. And it's just, we're not quite ready there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Phil, going back to that project you're talking about, that's to restore the flow of water. So they're going to raise more parts of Tamiami to do that. Is that the project in a nutshell?
Yes. Yeah. It's so they've got 3 bridges in already. They're raising another 6 miles of the road. They're going to start now and hopefully be done in about a year. I think they said about a year and a half, depending on what hurricane seasons do and so forth. The goal, working with the state, the governor actually just came down March 26th and said that with this project going on, they'll be able to remove 200 billion gallons of water back into the Everglades. Tamiami is acting as a dike right now, and it's blocking it. And so that fresh water will allow to filter down and hopefully replace and replenish the mangrove estuaries. So it'll create that brackish water that's needed. which could save the Everglades for, the foreseeable future. So the goal is right now is, we need fresh water into the system because Florida Bay is dying. The seagrass is dying off. Salt water is usually higher temperature. So it's even a few years ago, it killed off dolphins that washed up in the Flamingo, the one visitor center or marina in the park. And so, that road, raising the road and moving that water in, it's going to raise the water levels from 1 to 2 feet inside the park, which doesn't sound like much, but put in perspective, it's more water than the entire state of California uses in a year. That's going to be coming into just the eastern part of the Everglades.
Wow.
So you're going to see, it's exciting. It's the largest restoration project in the North American hemisphere. It's hoping to take the only World Heritage Site off the endangered list. So Florida Bay is a World Heritage Site, and it's on the endangered list, the only one in North America. The next closest one is there's a coral reef outside of Belize that is struggling as well. It's going to be a temporary headache because sometimes I have to stop traffic, but it's going to be cool because they're going to move the road. So you're going to see them bring the road in. They're going to build the road and then shift traffic over to it. So the last bridge was built by the same company who did the stacking there at the Palmetto near the airport. They stacked the road. So they said building this is a cupcake compared to having to work around what happened around the airport. So
And Army Corps of Engineers is involved in that too?
Yeah, you have the Army Corps of Engineers, FWC, the state of Florida, Department of Transportation, the Park Service, anybody who's in basically the Department of Interior, because it affects the native Miccosukes and Seminoles. So you have the Bureau of Indian Affairs has commented on as well. There were so many big weeks on March 26th that I needed like a list to figure out who these people were as they came in. Anything. Obviously you knew the governor and then our superintendent, Pedro Ramos. The other ones were, it was the who's who in this, in the conservation side of things.
Can I ask you to clear something up for me? I've run into, when I've been out there, and maybe you could break it down with the difference. Obviously, I know you're a federal and you're a park ranger, but then you also have like a fish and game guy. That's from FWC. And is that the same as a game warden? Is that somebody else? And that's a state guy? Like, what's the difference of all these people that are out there in the Everglades, sort of?
Yeah, you have FWC and game wardens are hired by the state. So they're all state rangers. They have certain areas, certain districts, so forth. The National Park Service, they call we have two types of rangers. Law enforcement rangers, they're the ones that usually say park ranger on the side of their vehicle. They they look like a police officer. They've got the belt. They can give tickets out and so forth. And then you have park rangers. In my division, we're called the Division of Interpretation, and it comes from the early 1920s. A guy named Freeman Tilden said it was up for park rangers to interpret these parks to the people. So we've always said we're interpretive park rangers. But now with most people think, do you speak multiple languages? Because that's what interpretation usually is. So you try to change it to visitor services or visitor enhancement specialists, but it's hard to get away from 100 years of tradition. So you have two types of park rangers, and then we're all Department of Interior. We're all federal. The Everglades. Anytime you hear national, like Big Cypress National Preserve, they are national park rangers as well. It's just that Congress has a different designation, so you can hunt in the preserve. You can't hunt in a national park. So when they set up the preserve, Big Cypress, some people wanted to keep hunting rights, and so they worked out an agreement. But basically, if it has an arrowhead on the side of it, it's National Park Service. If it doesn't have an arrowhead, it's usually state or Bureau of Indian Affairs or something outside the Park Service.
And I think that's something that a lot of people don't know, that some of those guys are like probably higher up than a police officer, when they pull you over, because they have the park area, and they could arrest you, right? Too. They could give you a ticket, like you said.
Yes.
It's basically
I
a
mean,
law
if you're
enforcement.
if you're in a federal park and you commit a crime, you go to a federal holding facility, and then you could go down to the federal district court. So they'll send you down. I think the closest federal prison is the one down there, and right outside Robert is here. When you go down the street there, the big federal penitentiary. So yeah, it's a federal crime. Each state's different too. What they can do. Some park rangers in certain national parks, like in Texas, they can't arrest people in a national park because only Texas Rangers can do that. In the Everglades, yeah, they can help assist on 41 with accidents or traffic control and so forth. So they get trained just like the park police do up in the nation's capital. They go so to be a law enforcement ranger permanent in the Park Service, you go to a federal law enforcement training center in Georgia for it's 16 weeks, 4 months, and then you go for 11 weeks of field training. So you go to a different national park, and you basically 40 hours a week are being tested on something. So they'll send you to Yellowstone or Yosemite, and then after you pass that, you're a federal law enforcement NPS law enforcement ranger. So yeah, a lot of ones like the Everglades because you get to go on airboats in the backcountry, or they work at Biscayne where they go out to Boca Chica and all that. And then obviously, yeah, anything else a police officer would do, but inside the park.
Cool. Guys, I don't want to hog all the questions. If you have anything, feel free to jump in.
Phillip, you said you were from Virginia?
From Baltimore, originally. Yeah.
So when you moved down in 2015, dude, what hit you, man? What was like, wow, I'm not in Baltimore anymore, you know?
So it two things actually. One, so I moved down initially, and the Park Service does a good job of like giving you a mentor or contact. So one of the rangers, with education specialist, she grew up here. She's of Cuban descent, so she kind of told me about it's going to be a little faster pace because I came from a national park that the whole county had 4 traffic lights, and the closest Walmart was 45 minutes away. And so I came down here, it was 4 traffic lights just to get out of the first apartment complex, I felt like. And so the first thing is I didn't realize I went to a Sedano's and a Walmart on July 4th weekend in Kendall. And I've never seen so many people on July 4th. And being 6'5", 225, I was bumped into, I thought I was playing like football, like people just, and then the other thing was I'm a runner, so I went to a run club, and they said, will you stand up front? And I said, why? They said, we're taking a picture. And I've never been up front in a picture in my life, being 6'4". I'm always in the back row. And I said, why? Because you bring diversity to our run club. We haven't had a white person in this run club in Kendall in years. And so we want to show you off. So that's when I realized I was in a different place. So yeah, it's been fun. I've tried been made fun of because I didn't know what a repause was. A repause. I pronounced it, anglicized it, said, what are arepas? And my whole staff laughed at me when I said that. But I've learned to try. I can't roll my R's. That's the problem I have. I can't.
Hey, this guy.
Hey, I love you, bro. You're my boy.
His name is Raul, and in Spanish, his name is Raul. Raul. He can't even pronounce his name in Spanish. He's Cuban.
I'm Cuban, and I can't say my name in Spanish, bro. It's Zaul.
Have they gotten you into the cafecito yet?
So yeah, they have. I never drank coffee. My dad always told me it would stunt my growth, and he always wanted me to play basketball. And so first time I had coffee once in college, hated it because it's college coffee in the library. And then I came down here, and this was the next time I had coffee. They gave me something down here, and I don't think I could sit for the first few minutes. Like I had to stand up at the meeting, and walk around. I'm caffeine sensitive, and that just.
It's nitro, dude. It's nitro.
I had to pace the outside before I come into the meeting just to get some of the energy off.
Yeah, it's liquid nitro. I'm just
That's
saying,
why crack never took off in South Florida, because
South Florida.
we have the coffee. So let me just ask, maybe there's something that you've encountered when you've been out there. What's the weirdest thing you kind of ran into when you've been out there? Like a skeleton, an animal, or just something that you found? Like, how the hell did that get here?
The python with the alligator exploding out of it, stuff like that.
Sure. So one of the weirdest things. So I got down here in 2015, and I went on a within 2 weeks I went on a python. We basically went out looking for pythons, and I just met this guy that day. He was one of our volunteers, and I remember him saying that, like, we see one, my job is to grab the tail of the python. And I'm a pretty smart guy, or at least I thought I was. And I go, isn't that the worst thing to do? And he goes, oh yeah, it's going to annoy him. And I said, so why do I want to annoy him? And he go, because then it'll turn around and try to bite you, and that's why I'm here, and I'm going to grab it with this stick, and it's going to, like, pinch its neck, and then I'll put it in the bag. And right then I started thinking I should have thought of a different career or something. So we went out there. It was about a 3-hour hunt. We didn't find any. About half an hour left, we saw something moving, and he goes, I think it's a python. So adrenaline kicked in. I jumped in, grabbed the snake, pulled it toward me. Thing came around. I never even saw it. He grabbed it. We got into the bag, and then he starts laughing at me. And I go, why are you laughing? And he goes, look at your hands. The python had evacuated its bowels to try to get away. And in the adrenaline, I didn't realize I was covered in it. And so he was laughing as I, like, try to pump a whole bottle of hand sanitizer and clean my hand. It was an 8-foot snake, but when I tell Christmas stories, it's gained a foot or two every year. So by the time I retire, it's going to be like a 50-foot snake. But
Nice.
That was one. And then the other thing is I showed up in one summer, and we had crime scene event. It was like a CSI episode. We had crime scene investigators. We had body recovery units. Someone had crashed an airplane a few miles down from the tower, and they forgot to report it. They came out of Tamiami Executive Airport there in Kendall, and apparently they didn't tell that the plane had gone missing. So FBI was scrambling because it's an unidentified airplane going around. Well, this guy crashed. They finally found it, and unfortunately, alligators had found the body before, and so we had to send rangers out to distract the alligators. We had to send airboats out to get part of the plane. We had the body, so we had to cordon off half the parking lot. Then they had to bring the body back, and someone accidentally opened the bag with the body, and then so fluids came out. So then we had to clean the whole. Yeah, it was a whole ordeal. But and then you can't bleach the parking lot because everything runs off in the Everglades. So you had to find natural cleaners. So yeah, it became a big fiasco to find this guy who basically shouldn't have been in a plane because he wasn't trained to be fly solo, but he thought he could do it, crashed it, and ended up killing himself.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, you show up to work, you have like crime scene investigators, body recovery unit people. You're thinking, what happened? And it's not going to be a normal Friday.
Wow, that's nuts, dude.
That's in other parks I've been handed a femur bone of a Native American that washed up on the Potomac. Some lady, a dog found. I've been handed a chocolate cake after a tour because they thought I looked too skinny in the Park Service uniform. It's I've been poked before asking if I was a real person because I was standing too straight at the desk. So I poked the visitor back asking if they were a real visitor. But yeah, no, it's there's a lighter side of the Park Service where we kind of share stories about things that we get asked that make you scratch your head.
Yeah.
Like what time do you release the alligators?
Nice.
How much is a cave left undiscovered? Things of that nature. But it adds a little bit to the job. So you try to find what they're really asking.
It sounds interesting. Keep you on your toes.
It does. I just celebrated 13 years in the Park Service and trying to figure out where time went. I felt like I'm still that first year, second year.
Right. Cheers to that, man. That's awesome, dude. I think it's so important, man, what you guys do, and especially for kids, to in this day and age that they just want to be like behind a screen, to go out and like see some real, animals and nature and little history. It's so important.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. So if you don't mind, if I can promote something real quick, we actually
Yeah.
are going to be advertising at least 2 positions. They're called Greening Youth Foundation interns, GYFs, and they're 6-month paid internships. They're looking for locals, and they're trying to diversify the park service because we're about 85-90% Caucasian, and so they want locals, Hispanics, African Americans to welcome to the park. And so you get paid for the 6-month internship, and then you get what's called PLC credit. And so if you apply for a job, you can get put to the top of the list with this PLC credit for 2 years. So you can be, if I like your application, I can pull your application and hire you like that instead of going through everything else.
Nice.
So
Wow.
we'll be advertising them. We're just getting the paperwork in now. They'll be advertised sometime, hopefully in the summer. And yeah, they're like a golden ticket into the National Park Service or into the federal government because you can go work for a different division. But yeah, you kind of do what a ranger does and see if you like it.
Is there a shortage of rangers?
What was that?
Is there a shortage of rangers?
Yes. Yeah, we in 2016 we were down 18%. And I haven't seen, usually when the new administration comes in, they release the numbers of each agency. But right now, there's so many. We are down across the board, and they keep adding national park units, so they keep spreading it out. And so, like, the president will add one, but Congress has to set the funding for it. And if they don't agree, then everything gets held up. Well, but you still got to go in and open the doors. You still got to clean the building. So you find, and so yeah, we are. When I got in 13 years ago, 2008, the average age of a ranger was 46 years old. So you figured now, I mean, they're right at retirement age, and yeah, they're not being replaced. So yeah, that's why one of these internships are important, because if someone like that gets in and they're 22 and they're from South Florida and they love the Everglades or Biscayne, they can be here for 30, 40 years and retire with a federal pension and all that. But also, yeah, have full-time employment.
And this is targeted towards a college age kind of person.
You have to be under, you can't complete the internship and be over 31. So you lose your PLC at 31. So, I mean, as long as you're under that, they try to gear it toward people in college. That way, if they're interested and they think this is a field they want to get in, they can come out to this internship, and then you realize, wait a minute, no, it's not for me. They can still change their major. So they're not getting out and then being, oh, crap, I don't like this. What do I do? And it's also, too, is helping, you paid, I forget what it is, but it's like being paid as a ranger. So it's more than a minimum wage. And a lot of them have a housing, too. So we're trying to give housing to them in the park. Now, is that a benefit or a negative? Depends on if you like lights or traffic or not. So yeah, some of our housing is in the middle, little remote, but it also adds, and it's geared toward anyone under 31, really. But we're trying to, younger college is what we're aiming for.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity for somebody. Yeah, if you could send me some more info on that later, that'd be awesome. I can share it with whoever, I know that might be interested. That sounds awesome. Hey, man, I know you told me you have not too much time. I wanted to get into a couple other things before you go. Do you have a few more minutes?
Yeah, let's keep going. I didn't know how it'd be after driving. I drove from Miami to the Carolinas today, and I'm still up. So let's roll. Yeah. So.
Oh wow, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to get a little bit more into some of the other stuff that I found out that you're, excuse me, that you're involved in, like the Revolutionary War stuff and the Civil War stuff. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. So when I was working at one of the national parks, we were up in the Fredericksburg area, so about 50 miles below D.C., and it's considered one of the bloodiest landscapes in North America. If you put your finger on Fredericksburg, Virginia, which is right on I-95, and drew a circle of 30 miles, 100,000 men were killed, wounded, or are missing in that area in major battles. And so we were all young interns, early park rangers, and we just had this interest in history, but we didn't know really how to share it because we didn't wear bow ties, so we didn't look like college professors. We didn't have PhDs next to our name. So we started blogging about it, and we started a blog. And then the blog picked up in time for these big anniversaries, 150th of the Civil War came around. So we thought of writing these books. Like, what's that first book someone should pick up if they know nothing about it? And they were like battlefield guides. And I know one reviewer on Amazon called it the gateway drug to the Civil War. We thought that was awesome. So we used that terminology. But so yeah, the book series expanded, the blog. We now expanded over. We get about 1 million hits a year now. We do a big symposium in Fredericksburg where we get about 150 people to show up, and it's a 3-day lecture series. I've been able to be on C-SPAN with it, been to St. Louis, New York City, the Outer Banks, talking about the books. And so yeah, it's really just been this passion that you're able to share. And we call it Emerging Civil War and now Emerging Rev War because we split off to do that one because we want to give that voice to the next generation of people that are interested in history and giving them a chance to put something out on the website that'll be read by hundreds, thousands of people. We did something similar to this when the pandemic hit, and we start these historian happy hours on Sundays. We call them Rev War Revelries. And basically, we just wanted to sit around, talk history, and drink beer. And being the only single one or non-married one on the in the group now, the other ones use it as an excuse to drink and socialize and get away from I guess the wives and kids.
That's what we're doing right now.
So, but yeah, so now we have people watching from England and all across the world. So it's basically it's been a fun little thing that's blown up, and we're just celebrating 10 years with the Civil War one and 6 years with the Rev War one. And next month, my 5th book comes out. So it's pretty cool to just have that little extra, that passion outside of work. So we get to talk. So that's part of the reason I'm headed north as well. We have a virtual symposium next weekend in outside DC and everything. So, yeah, and I get to share it with my dad. Unfortunately, he has dementia now, so he's starting to lose his mind a lot more. But he got me into being history, so now he gets to come around to some of the talks and walks with me. So we get to share that. So nice. I'm a history nerd, and I've been able to turn it into a career and a passion. So still haven't figured out how to become Dr. Phill yet, but that's still coming. So.
Phill, that's amazing, man. 5 books, dude, and you're in your 30s, I think, or something like that. That's awesome, man. What would you say if you were to just give me 3 or 4 things that the average person probably doesn't know about either one of those 2 wars that might be surprising to somebody?
So the American Revolution actually. Let's see. We'll talk with American. Yeah. So the American Revolution, about 1% of the population they believe were killed, wounded, or lost their lives. So you figured 1%. And the Civil War, that was 2%. So if you put it in terms today, the American Civil War cost about 8 million lives. If you put it in perspective of 20 figures. The American Revolution, actually, we call it a revolution, but it's really more of a rebellion because we didn't want to revolutionize we still wanted the same people on top. We just wanted different people to be in charge, but the elites. But actually, one of the most famous, I guess, unsung heroes was a guy who was actually a Spaniard, Bernardo de Galvez, who was governor of Louisiana at the time, and he actually invaded Pensacola and gave guns and ammunitions to the United States, and he held the British down in Pensacola. And in 2010, President Obama bestowed an honorary citizenship posthumously on him, and he's like the 4th guy besides like Winston Churchill and up those levels to get that honorary citizenship, and he's pretty much unknown. And there's a few pictures of him there. You have, the oldest city, obviously, in the United States is St. Augustine. And they actually had 3 signers of the Declaration of Independence were held captive in St. Augustine. So if you go to the Castillo there, Castillo de San Marcos, you can actually see where they held one in solitary confinement, I think for like 42 weeks or something. The American Civil War, you actually, it's the last, one of the last towns to know about it was actually what Miami is, Fort Dallas. They didn't know until 1866 that the war had ended the year before because news and everything took so long to get down here. But Florida was one of the only states. So Florida had a population of 140,000 people at the start of the Civil War. And they had 15,000 men that fought for the Confederacy. And 1 out of every 3 men were killed, wounded, or didn't come home. And so it was what is now the town of Orlando gave all their population of eligible males to the war effort. I think all 30 men left the town. So you imagine Orlando there. And you go to Orlando today, one of the founders was actually Thomas Jefferson's grandson. His house is still standing there in outside Orlando. But yeah, he was got into the orange growth. And then the last thing I'll say is that part of Napoleon's family settled in Pensacola after as well. So they when they try to get out of France. So you have a lot of unique history that's uncovered. The state of Florida just gave there's a PDF you can get online of the Civil War trails through Florida, and talks about interesting history, including last thing.
Dude, you're good.
We're good. We're learning, man.
Okay.
We're in class.
Sometimes I can go off on tangents, but one of the guys who caught up with John Wilkes' conspiracy with the Abraham Lincoln assassination was a guy named Lewis Payne or Lewis Powell. He's actually from St. Augustine, and his job was he was supposed to kill the Secretary of State, but he was too frantic. The Secretary of State had fallen had a carriage accident, so he had a metal brace around his neck. So he went to stab him in his bed. He kept hitting it, and then he got more nervous. Well, he ended up being captured because he was walking around D.C. because his guide fled when he heard all the commotion. He was hung, and years later, apparently the skull got separated from the body, and so the skull got mixed up in the Smithsonian's with this Native American display or something. And when they was changing museum exhibits or warehouses, they found out about it and they didn't know what to do with it. So they basically gave it back to a Confederate veterans group in Florida. And in Geneva, Florida, the small town, they buried the skull. And so you can go to the graveyard, and it has the skull next to his mother's grave. But they don't admit that he was part of the assassination. They just give his other service. But yeah, they actually handed the skull back, I think, in 1997 or something. So yeah, it's just an amazing, random, weird history. So, but yeah, I found, and then supposedly somewhere near Cedar Key is where some of the Confederate gold baggage train. So after they were trying to get it out, and they buried it somewhere in Florida, and they came back and dug some of it. So there could be still some buried gold outside of Cedar Key. So if you can get permission from the state, you can go up there and metal detect, and maybe you'll find some gold bars.
That would be quite a find. It's amazing how much history we have in just the state of Florida. All these things you're mentioning, they have in Fort Myers. This is not tied into the Civil War, Revolutionary War, but just more like some historical stuff. Edison, I think, has like his old estate is there, and his laboratories, and I think Ford also was involved with him. And that's a cool museum to visit if you're ever in that part, or if you've been there. A lot of cool history in different parts of Florida that probably people don't really go and check out or know about.
No, it's part of my own now. I've been writing on the blog about some of this Florida history and so forth. Just have another blog coming up in post in June about one of the guys who was killed in the state of Florida. His body's in Williamsburg, but they presented a flag to his family. and they have the letter that the governor of Florida wrote at the time in 1862. But yeah, no, Fort Myers, especially if you go around Christmas, they light up the Edison and house with Christmas lights and trees and everything. So yeah, it's really cool if you're ever on that side as well. Also, under one of the overpasses in Miami, you still have one barracks of Fort Dallas, which was the original name of Miami. So it's still part of the original fort, still down there today. So yeah, it's in forget what's the overpass, but yeah, you kind of got your GPS will get you lost because it can't figure out where to go. But it's down the street from the Capitol Grill, so I just parked there and walked down, but because I can't afford to eat at the Capitol Grill, so that's as close as I'll get. But so yeah, no, it is a lot of layers of history and everything, and so it's pretty cool when you start discovering it. That Florida's more than just Disney World and South Beach type thing. So, and then
which you are a fan of that, right?
What was that? Disney?
You're a Disney fan, right?
I am. Yeah, I'm a Disney kid at heart. So it's been exciting to be only a few hours from Disney and so forth. But yeah, I guess the first time I went, I was 3 years old, and I didn't realize that they don't look the same on TV that they do in real life. They're actually full grown. So the chipmunks and all that scared the heck out of me because I thought they were supposed to be smaller. But got terrified there. But yeah, no, it's when the parks are, sometimes you move around a lot. So I've been at 4 parks in 13 years, so you don't know how much you've got at sometimes because to keep moving on, you've got to move up, you got to move on. And so I've when I go someplace, I try to take advantage of everything I can do and see, and then how can I become part of the community as well. So you try to invest in everything because yeah, you don't know how much time you got.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What is writing a book like? How long does that take? How much time out of? Is that like something you got to every day dedicate time to when you're doing something like that? How's that process been for you?
So it's one of those things like it reminds me of like when you go to Department of Motor Vehicles and you hurry up and wait, and you hurry up and wait, and then you hurry up and wait. So you'll get an idea. The publisher that we have is a great guy. So we pitch an idea with him. You get this thing outlined, and then he gives the coolest part is when you sign the contract. So it's like the closest I'll ever get to being like an NBA player or whatever. You get this contract, you read it through, you sign it, you send something back. It takes, well, depending on what book you're writing. So right now I'm writing one on just the Florida brigade that fought at the Battle of Gettysburg that suffered about 60% casualties. It's a 75,000 word book. But the research has taken 2 to 3 years because in the history world, historians fight it out in the footnotes and appendices. So if you have something wrong, there's been the point where the guy obliqued to the left, not to the right, and someone has caught it, and then it invalidates it. So the hardest part is the research. The writing is kind of the fun part because you kind of get the stories and so forth. We've written, the 5 books I've written are supposed to be for people that are going to Barnes & Noble, say, hey, I'm going on vacation to Philadelphia and I've heard about Valley Forge, but I know nothing about it. Oh, here's a book on Valley Forge. Pick it up. It gives you the information, but also we want to put you there. So when you're looking at that field, why is this field saved? It's not just a grass field that we don't want to put a shopping mall on. It's hollowed ground. And so we try to give a driving tour or a walking tour so you can experience it. The one book we wrote on Lexington and Concord, we also realized that a lot of the founding fathers had secret meetings in taverns, and 4 of the taverns still exist. So we did a whole appendix on how to drink like the founding fathers. We had to go back the next day and take pictures because the pictures got a little like lopsided as we went on. But it's an awesome process because, but it's also a little daunting when you get you have to send out to the Library of Congress for your ISBN. That you realize if it's good, it's going to be around for years, but if it's bad, it's going to be around for years. And now the official ISBN number, but to write one book, just the 5 books I've written. So the Valley Forge, I probably had to read another 8 to 10 books on top of that, and then talk to the Rangers there. The hardest part is getting what we call primary sources. So in the Civil War, it's a lot easier. It was a highly literate population. There's a lot of soldiers that wrote home. There's a lot of regimental histories. Rev War, a lot of people didn't know how to read and write, so they barely left any marks until they got a pension, and then they had to write down their history. So it's uncovering those things and their stories and trying to have those people speak and have their story passed through the ages, because it's some of the stories we found about soldiers being scared going into battle are just amazing, because everyone wants to be like, yeah, I'm bravado, I'm brave, the bullets are flying, but this guy's like, no, I watch guys defecate their pants going into battle, or they didn't want to die with playing cards on them because it wasn't Christian, so they would drop their playing cards and dice beside the road, and then if they survived, they came back and picked up the playing cards and dice and played that night. But no one wants to die with that and go to meet their maker with gambling on them in the 19th century. So you find cool stories like that. And then the last thing is when after you give these book talks, and you have people come up and you realize that like their ancestors fought in this, and now they get to read about it, or they get to walk the field where their ancestor were killed or wounded, and it's about the closest thing you can do to like bringing it back to life. And that's what. I mean, I get every time someone buys the book on Amazon, I get 25 cents a copy or 50-cent copy. So enough to at the end of the year to buy something off the value meal at McDonald's. So it's not really like the royalty checks are keeping me rich, but it's the opportunity to share that passion and write it out and everything. And I get to buy more books and I can justify it somehow. So that's why I have about 500 books in an apartment in West Kendall right now. So,
it's also, you had to be very satisfied. The accomplishment of writing your first book and going from there, and now you're going out to your fifth book. That's a great amount of accomplishment, no?
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's I've been lucky, blessed. I mean, I wrote a few of them with a great friend. Do some of the research together. Got to share some of the writing pains and everything, but it is one of those things. I mean, the best part about it, I guess, was the first book I published right as my dad got diagnosed with dementia, and I was able to give a talk, and he didn't realize that my mom and I had found an ancestor of his that fought at the battle that we were talking about. And not only that, I was given a book talk at this spot that was actually where he would have left on that last charge before he was mortally wounded. And so that was kind of one of those cool things, because I was 3 years old when my dad took me to my first battlefield and put me on his shoulders and had the video camera and all that. He filmed it with the lens cap on, the whole reenactment, but at least he filmed it. We just couldn't see it. And so to give him that back, that was what was like satisfying. It's like, hey, I'm kind of carrying that torch back. And so I am who I am because of him. I mean, we always talk about how fathers are important, or your family, and everyone says, when you have a speech and some big awards thing. But I wear my dad's name on my name badge now, because he wanted to be a park ranger as well and just didn't have the opportunity to do it. So yeah, that has been the most satisfying, is that it's kind of brought me closer to him while he's struggling through this, I mean, terrible disease. So they have their book and have him sit there and read it. And now he's at the point where he'll point out my name and go, "That's my son." And you realize what it means to him. But unfortunately, I mean, yeah, he's so mentally ill, he doesn't know that he's talking to me. But that's what's satisfying, is that part. So
yeah, I'm sure he's very proud.
Yeah, absolutely. So Phil, you are at least on your father's side of the family, old school America, we could say, because I was going to ask you that. Have you ever traced back? My wife just got me this thing for my birthday that I'm going to do, but you've obviously been able to do it through historical records and everything, and you got that far back where people in your family were involved in that.
Yeah, we know, we have evidence that at least my family, one part of the family's here as far as back as the War of 1812, because they are on a militia roster when the British invade D.C. and Baltimore. We have, I guess, with Greenwalt's, the hers, my mom's side, we have a tendency to the travel or wanderlust, I guess. One of my ancestors was killed in the Boxer Rebellion in China as a missionary. But yeah, most of them, Baltimore area for both of them came through. They were either Irish or German. But yeah, since about we know 1812, my direct ancestor was born. He didn't fight in the Civil War, but his three brothers did. He was the youngest of four. He was born in 1856. So yeah, from the War of 1812, Civil War, Spanish American. I think we fought in every war except the Mexican American War. Excuse me, the Mexican American War is the only war that we've not had an ancestor in. But yeah, it's kind of cool. I mean, when you start going back through and everything, and my mom gets into it. It's like trying to figure out a puzzle and everything. So that's what I'll say. Watch out when you start doing that ancestry DNA. It'll hook you and everything. So.
I have been talking to her about it for a while, and I did one on the website. Just you kind of start putting in, your father's name and then his father's name, and it kind of starts connecting. And then she got it for my birthday, and I'm probably gonna do it next week. So, does your last name make it easier? I mean, I haven't met. I can't recall. I don't know how common your last name is, but does that make it easier? Because it doesn't seem like a very common last name when researching that.
It does a little bit. It's been anglicized a little. We thought it used to be Greenwald with a D, but it's not too common. There's a decent amount of Greenwalds in the Baltimore D.C. area, but most of them are related one way or the other. My mom's side is a little harder. She's her HERR, but not big potato chip company that's named her chips up in the Mid-Atlantic, but unfortunately she's not part of that big money there. But Greenwald makes it a little easier. But we ran into a big snafu. My paternal grandmother's last name was Fitzpatrick, and she was an orphan. And so trying to find a Fitzpatrick in Ireland is, there's a lot of like trying to find, I guess, a Ramirez or Garcia or a Hernandez or something. Yeah. Down here,
I'm a Garcia.
Yeah, so it's or a Smith or a Thomas, something like that. You start as a Fitzpatrick, you put that in Ancestry, and it starts like going page after page after page, and so that's been hard. But the Greenwalds have at least been easy. They're more congregated. One family out of Germany, basically.
Phil, I know you've been on the road.
Got kicked out, but.
You've been on the road and you've given us more time. We could go on. I'd love to maybe have you back another day, when you have some more time. And, I don't want to keep you longer. I know you've been driving and that's a long drive. Maybe one day we can get back together and we can dive deeper into any one of these things. Super interesting stuff, man.
Definitely.
You guys have any parting questions for him?
No, man. I just want to thank him for taking the time, man, and staying. We're going to give us half an hour. We're already on an hour, so thank you so much for sharing.
Oh no, I appreciate it. I thought you'd be bored with me in about half an hour, because no, I'm glad. Yeah, thanks for the invite. This has been fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for taking the time. I'll touch back with you one day, man. Maybe we can do it again and get deeper into some stuff. Thank you so much, man. Really enjoyed it. Appreciate your time.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Thanks, gentlemen. Have a good weekend and come out to the Everglades. Let me know. I'll show you around.
Yeah, I put some links down below to the two organizations, and they can go check that out too. And then, we'll be in touch, man. Thank you so much again. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Phil.
All right, take care, gentlemen.
All right.
Good night. Awesome guy, man.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. Learned a lot of stuff, dude.
Yeah. The guy's well-rounded.
He's like a Renaissance man, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, I found him because he was a park ranger, and I was interested in that aspect of things. If he would have allowed me, we would have gone on for hours more, because he's so many different angles we could have kept going down, but I want to be respectful. The guy drove. I think he said he drove from Miami to the Carolinas today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't want to. We didn't even get into fishing stuff. Didn't want to kill him, but that was cool, man. That was awesome.
Definitely.
What did you learn, guys? What was the most interesting thing you learned?
Writing 5 books, dude, and he's only making 25 cents on a book when it sells on Amazon and stuff. That's crazy.
That's a labor of love.
It is. It's the other part too is you gotta fact check everything when you write that book. If the blood came out the right, the left, because people are gonna nitpick you, and that's like a whole gender into genre into that. I'm into my comics. You're into your thing. You're into your fishing tank. But there's people that are just into the history and getting the facts right, man. And you just gotta do research, man, and it takes time. And he's done 5. That's crazy.
Think about when we do, and this is a joke what we do, but think about when we do an episode and we want to talk about one subject.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of stuff that we try to research for it. Like, it's time consuming. Just that. Imagine like for a book that people are gonna, like he said, if it's good, it's gonna be there forever. If it's bad, it's gonna be there forever. So like, man, it must. And then just the research, and then you got to be able to write too, right?
Yeah.
You got to be able to put that pen to paper or finger to typewriter or whatever you want to call it.
Also, him coming from Baltimore down to Miami, man, that must have been a culture shock.
Oh my God, yeah, dude, totally.
Yeah.
And he said he's 6'5". He's gonna stick out wherever he goes. It's probably it was probably weird for him. Probably still is weird for him. But go to the Everglades, like you said, guys. The Everglades are amazing. There's so many things you can do out there. Go take an airboat ride. Go hunting. Go fishing.
You know what I wanted to ask him, and maybe you might know. He went out on a python hunt, right? How hard is it to actually find those things, dude?
Man, I will tell you, I have never ran into one, and I've been out there walking around and driving around a lot, but I am not in that area that he's in, which is a more swampy area. I don't know if they like that area more. I've ran into rattlers, cottonmouth, copperheads. I've ran into coral. I wanted to ask him that, dude, about the 5 poisonous snakes that we have out here. But I've never really ran into those, dude. But I see pictures of them all the time at the hunting check stations where they catch them, and they're like 15, 20 feet long or longer. I wanted to ask him that too, like what he thinks. There's a couple theories. One is that a lot of those escaped from the zoo during one of the hurricanes during Andrew, and another theory is people started getting them as exotic pets, and then that thing gets to be 20 feet long, and you're like, I can't have this in my house anymore, and then they just let them loose, and then they just
that's what happened. That's what happened. It's both of those happen. It's a mix of that, but definitely the people letting him loose. Oh yeah, they don't have the heart to kill him. They've had him for years, and it's like, no, I'm gonna kill it now. No, I'll let it loose.
We didn't even get into sports. He's a sports fan. You guys want to do a little bit of sports right now?
Sure.
Not really?
No, I'm good.
Dolphin schedule. Everybody's schedule came out. Should we take a look at that?
Sure.
You sound super excited about this.
Let's do drafts.
So the Dolphins 2021 schedule came out, and we are opening the season against the New England Patriots. And let's see, is that on the road or at home?
That's on the road.
If it's on the road, that's good.
Am I sharing the screen?
No.
Okay. Let's see if I can share. Add to the stream, and here we go. And preseason, we got the Bears, the Falcons. I don't know why that's there 2 times. I assume we only play them once. Bengals. And then, yeah, it's at Foxborough, like Tank said, on the road. And then we got the Bills. And we got the Raiders. Colts. And then look at this, dude. We play Tom at Tampa Bay. The Falcons. So we're not traveling too far. We're going to Tampa. We're going to Atlanta. Bills, Texans. Who's going to be their quarterback? Ravens, Jets, Panthers, New York Giants, New York Jets, Saints, Titans, and then we bookending the season at home against the Patriots. What sticks out from you there?
What sticks out? That they're not playing in New England. They're not playing in any cold weather games, it looks like.
That would be, maybe Nashville. Oh, no, but yeah, Nashville. You could get a little snow January 2nd in Nashville. Yeah. Superdome, obviously, you're going to be in the cozy dome. December 19th. Okay, we're playing at home. We're playing the Jets at home, and we're playing the Giants at home in December. Panthers. Yeah, you're right, dude. Might be a little chilly for that November 21st East Rutherford Jets game, but not terrible, probably.
But overall, it doesn't look like they're bad.
No, just that Nashville game will probably be balmy conditions.
Going up against Henry in the cold, nobody wants to do that.
We'll lose that game against Tannehill. Come on, dude.
Oh yeah, definitely. You want? Hey, let's do this. Let's go through the schedule. Let's see what we think some of the outcomes might be. You want to do that real quick?
Are we going to make a prediction as we run down the schedule of what we think their record will be?
We could do one now, and then we could do one during preseason.
All right.
I'm sure it'll change.
All right. So I'll make 3 columns here for each of us, sort of like, are we going to do that this year, guys? Are we going to be picking games again on Friday nights like we did last year?
Definitely, man. Tank's. I want to prove Tank was a one-hit wonder.
Yeah. So let's give a little preview to what our picking skills are like. And the first game is at home against the Patriots. Anybody want to go first?
Yeah, we got that. Lock of the week.
Tanks take Miami.
You know what? I'm going to take Miami too.
I will make it a clean sweep, and I will agree with you guys. And I'm going to take Miami. Moving on to week 2, at home, coming off a glorious victory against the Patriots. We are going to be playing the Buffalo Bills.
I'll go Bills.
Tank, do I just put Miami for every game for you, or?
Nah, I think the Bills, yeah.
Bills. I will play devil's advocate here, and I'm going to take Miami, even though the Bills are probably going to win. But I'll play devil's advocate on that one. So next up after that, we are going to the what do they call this place? The city that never sleeps. No, that's New York. I don't know what they call this place, but we're going to Las Vegas for the Raiders. I am definitely taking Miami in this game.
I'll take the Raiders.
I'm going Miami.
You do remember what happened last time we played, right?
Yeah, I'll take the Raiders.
You can watch that episode if you forgot. We did it. We did it live. I think tears were shed. We'll leave it at that. So after the victory in Las Vegas, we come back to Hard Rock Stadium and we're playing the Indianapolis Colts. And the Colts will have under center. Who will they have under center?
Wentz.
Definitely taking Miami here.
Yeah, I'm going Miami.
I'll go Colts.
I'm such a homer, dude. I pick Miami every game.
Well, not the next one.
God damn it. Fucking Tom, Darth Sith Brady, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Gronk, and Brown, and did they lose Godwin?
Maybe Edelman.
No, they got him.
Maybe Edelman.
They got everybody, dude.
Evans, Fournette, Jones, the other tight end,
Doug
Williams.
Williams.
Doug Williams is making a comeback.
Lynch.
Dude, I like that quarterback they drafted. I think he could be a sleeper, dude.
Who? Tampa?
Frisk. What's his name?
From Florida?
Yeah.
Trask.
Yeah.
Boulevard Trask?
I'm taking Miami.
I'll take the Bucks.
I got the Bucks.
I'm crazy, dude. The Dolphins will never be 5-0, but that's what I've picked. I'm sticking to it. Next up, we go to the Falcons. No, they come to us.
Miami,
dude, and you make them wear that black uniform, okay? And hopefully it's a 1:00 game. You make them wear that black uniform. Who you got?
Miami.
All right, Miami. All right, Dolphins are 6-0 according to me so far. We are going up to Buffalo, and I'll take the Bills on this game.
Bills.
Yeah, Bills.
That is only the second time we have agreed. I have to save this paper so we can check this later.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna go play the Houston Texans at home.
You're gonna go play the Houston Texans at home?
We're gonna go home and play the Houston Texans. Okay. There's motorcycle guy. Take a drink. That guy's been missing for a while, dude.
I haven't had the window open.
Shout out to motorcycle guy.
Miami, Houston.
Miami, Houston. Which one?
Miami or Houston? Which one?
I'm taking Miami against Houston.
Like, who's gonna be their quarterback, dude?
Dude, that's the $1 million. I'm more intrigued with that than the whole what happens with Aaron Rodgers. I'm more interested in the Deshaun.
What if Aaron Rodgers ends up being the quarterback for the Texans?
That will be interesting.
Yeah, that would be a loss for the Dolphins in that.
Can you imagine how much he'd be crying if that were to happen? That's where he would end up. But I don't think they can. Doesn't he have a no trade?
Probably. What a shithole that place is, dude.
Yeah.
Definitely taking Miami. That organization is a disaster.
Are they usually it's the Jets, right? The worst disaster kind of feel. It's Houston, right? They've taken over.
Yes. Absolutely.
They're almost like the black sheep. It's almost like they don't even belong in the NFL, it seems like.
The difference to me is the Jets are trying to get players, but they don't. Houston has been able to get players.
And let them go.
In some cases, players that are in the upper echelon of their positions, and they've done bad moves or bad things have happened, or players have done stupid things, and they've imploded when they could have been sitting pretty, dude, if they wouldn't have traded away picks, traded away Hopkins, kept players happy, different ways to sabotage yourself, but same result, I guess.
Seems that way, right? Sabotaging themselves.
Yeah.
That way.
So next up, we're going. We're at home again, and we're playing the Ravens, and damn it, dude, they have a hard time with this team. Tank, I don't know if you can check the numbers, but it seems like we always lose to the Ravens. So by that rationale, I have to take the Ravens.
I'm going to take the Dolphins in this one.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. I'll go Dolphins.
So real quick, my picks have the Dolphins at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 2 at this point. Tanks has them at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3, and Hialeah has them at 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like 4 and 4. No, 4 and 5. 4 and 5 for Hialeah. Okay.
And you're what, 7-2?
I have them at 7 and 2 at this point.
It says the following list is a list of all regular season and postseason games played between Dolphins and Ravens. They met 16 times, including 2 postseason. You guys want to take a guess what it is?
Well, I know we're 0 and 2 in the postseason.
16 games, you said?
Yeah.
Dude, at best, we've beat them 5 times.
I'll say the Dolphins are 3 and again whatever the loss column is. I say 3 wins 13? For the Dolphins. Yes, 3 and 13.
It's the Ravens are up 10-6.
Okay.
So the Dolphins have beat them 6 times. So I was off by 1.
Yeah.
I was off by 3.
You said at best, though. You said at best.
So
yeah, so I'm off by 1.
Okay, I'm off by 3. At worst. Okay,
I
who's next?
bet a lot of those wins were early on too, because of late I feel like we lose all the time.
They say you got that first game of the year where they got shellacked on your mind. That's why.
I mean, 6 and 10. That's terrible, dude. 6 and 10.
It could be worse.
Yeah, it could be 0 and 16.
The last 5, Dolphins won 3, and Ravens 2.
That's shocking. Okay, moving on. We play the Jets in East Rutherford, New Jersey, November 21st.
I'm taking the Dolphins.
Yeah, Dolphins.
Yeah, me too. Clean sweep. This team has also given us a hard time historically. Carolina Panthers up next at Hard Rock Stadium. Seems like a lot of these games are at home. Do we finish the year like on the road? Yeah, we finished the year on the road. Not really. All right. Panthers.
I like the Panthers, man, but I think the Dolphins beat them.
Who's slinging it for them?
Darnold.
I'll take the Dolphins.
I'm taking the Dolphins, but I like that. I like what they're doing in Carolina. I like that team.
Randy, you want to hear the stats for Panthers Dolphins?
Sure, why not?
Dolphins lead the series 4-2.
Sin City. Thank you, Bum, in the comments section. Yes, that's what I was looking for.
Like 15 minutes ago.
I know. I just read it now. You guys are not really helping me. Are you going to make a pick?
Yeah, Dolphins.
Okay, straight against the board. So, second week in a row, straight across the board, Miami. And then we are coming back home, and we're playing the New York Giants.
Dolphins.
I'm going to take the Giants. This feels like a team we have a hard time with, and it feels like it could be like a trap game.
Who's their quarterback?
Daniel Jones?
I'm going to go Dolphins.
All righty then. Next up is the New York Jets. We're playing them at home. So back to back, we got the New York teams coming. The bye week is in between. Jets. Who's their quarterback?
Wilson.
Wade Wilson?
Sack. Their number 1 pick.
Dolphins.
Dolphins.
Yeah, I got Dolphins.
Then we're going to the Superdome to face the Swiss Army knife. Who are we facing in this game? To face that's the quarterback, right? That's who they're rolling with.
Yeah. That or what's the other guy?
Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
Is he still a Saint?
Yeah. I think he's their starter. Well, you know what? I'm not sure. I can't say that. I'm not sure.
I got the Saints.
I got the Saints.
I'll go Dolphins.
That's another team that I think we have a hard time with traditionally, especially in the Drew Brees era.
I think a lot of teams have trouble with them.
Let's look at the Saints depth chart real quick. Yeah, they have a. I think you're right, Hialeah. They have Jameis Winston here slated.
I think it's going to be a mix.
Yeah, they'll probably use both of them extensively. And after that, we're going to that aforementioned Titans game on the road in Nashville, Tennessee.
I got the Titans.
Yeah, I'll go Titans.
Me too. Triple tit Titans. And then we are ending the season at home against the New England Patriots.
You know what? Can I correct that? I'm going Dolphins against the Titans.
Sure, dude. Just to make it tradition.
Yeah, bro.
I'm surprised you waited this long to change your mind. Dude, guys, I got to warn you, I think I'm ripped.
Really?
Just putting it out there.
Wow.
And fuck the Patriots, dude. We're winning this game. Miami's winning this game to close the season.
Yeah, I got Miami.
I got New England.
All right.
What's our projections?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have the Dolphins at 9 and 8, right? Because we got 17 games now.
Yeah.
No, it says 9 and 7 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know why it's 9 and 7. Did I miss a game? We are doing 17 games this year, right?
Yeah.
1, 2,
Hold on,
3,
guys. I'll be right back.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. No, there's just 16 games on the schedule.
Are you looking at the right? Yeah, that's the right year.
Yeah. Okay, you're at 9 and 7. What am I at? What's Tank at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is never going to happen. He has them at 12 and 4.
So what? You got them at 3 and 13 and 3.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I've got them at a more realistic 11 and 5. What were they last year?
What game are we missing? They were 10 and 6. What game are we missing?
Are we sure that starts this year?
Yeah, 17 games.
Is there some sort of London game? No, that would be losing a home game. That wouldn't be.
I think the AFC this year has 9 home and 8 away. And then next year it's 8 home and 9 away. They're flip-flopping it, I believe, between the NFC and the AFC.
So here's the schedule again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We didn't pick this Jacksonville game.
No, we missed. We didn't see the Jackson. I didn't see it.
No. Did I just skip that one?
So Jacksonville, I got the Dolphins beating Jacksonville. Hey,
October 17.
Hey,
We got another guest.
Hello. Who is she picking for that Jacksonville game? Because there's a Jacksonville game we missed.
Oh no, dude, she's picking the Dolphins.
So I got them at 10 and 7.
So we're all picking Miami against Jacksonville?
Yeah.
You don't think the rookie's going to rip us
No.
up? in his Week 6 start.
10-7 for me. Tank's got them at
14-7. No, he's got him at 13-4. I've got him at 12-5. So you think the Dolphins are going to take a step back in 2021?
No, I think they're going to stay the same.
Well, no, you have them losing 2 more games than they did the year before.
One more game, but there's 1 more game in the season, so they're pretty much the same.
I mean, that's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is they're what were they last year?
10-6. I got them winning 10 games.
It's a step back.
Because you added a game.
Okay. It's a step back, though.
Okay, it's a step back. If that's what you want to see it, that's fine with me.
It's a step back.
It's a small step back.
Okay. It's not a leap forward.
For mankind. Or any kind.
What about me?
No, you got them fucking winning the Super Bowl.
You have very unrealistic expectations.
What is it?
13-4. But that's what you're going to end up with.
You got to make yourself big if you're going to show that picture.
Who is that, dude? Who's that disappointed little feller there with his Brian Cox jersey on?
Somebody we're going to see a lot of next year with his picks.
We're going to post that pick every time the Dolphins lose.
What do you got them at? What do you have them at?
Me?
Yeah.
12-5.
Okay.
Oh.
That's unrealistic, too. They're probably going to win 11
games. Look, you're saying he's unrealistic. You're saying you're unrealistic. I'm 10-7, and I got them doing worse. So what do you think is going to happen?
Probably 11 is probably more.
Is you think that's going to happen, or is that being hopeful too?
I mean, you would hope they're better, right? You wouldn't hope they take a step back with all those draft picks. If they're not better than last year with all these draft picks, that's a failure, right?
It's also Tua's first full season, man. He's going to be by himself. He's not going to have Fitzgerald to count on. Fitzpatrick.
Fitzgerald or Fitzpatrick. Neither one of them are going to be there.
Yeah. But you know what? I do like that backup. I like the guy they got from Indy.
Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, I do like him. I think that was a good ad.
Dude, do you think the NFL rigged it so Brady would play the Patriots, or that just worked out that they play the AFC East?
Of course they rigged up. Just look at all the. You know what? And I'm not faulting them because we got a ton of great matchups coming up. They did the schedule, to our benefit, dude. I'm not hating. I don't want to sound like I'm hating, but of course a lot of those games are rigged up. KC, Baltimore again. Of course you want to see that game. You want to see all the revenge games,
Well, dude, and Brady's going to play against all his former foes. He's going to go to New England. He's going to play the Dolphins. He's going to play the Jets. He's going to play the Colts.
I mean, they schedule that years in advance, but I don't got a problem if they did that on purpose because you got to think Brady's only got a few more years left. If you're not going to do it now, when the hell are you going to do it,
No, it's supposed to work out with you play this division depending on which division was stronger. Who knows? It's worked. It couldn't have worked out any better for the NFL.
And I think they did it on purpose, and I got no problem with it. Give us the games we want to see, dude. You got who is it? Darnold from Carolina going up back against his team, the Jets. You got, I believe, Wentz plays Philly. You got all these revenge kind of games. So I'm good with it.
Those are the games people want to see. Yeah. I mean, the NFL does
Detroit against the Rams.
There you go.
Matchups.
The NFL always keeps you engaged, dude, even throughout the offseason. We give you the free agency period. We give you the draft. We give you the schedule. We give, all these little carrots along the way.
Everything's an event, too.
Yeah. I mean,
they do it right, man. They keep they pique our interest.
Yeah. Am I sharing the screen? The screen?
Yes.
This is their schedule. Tampa Bay.
I believe I heard it's like the fourth easiest according to last year's opponents' records.
From what I read, also, I understood the Dolphins' schedule was one of the easier ones around. Not sure how true that is, but
You only
Bum
know
said the 5th.
Dolphins' 5th easiest.
Yeah, that's what the bum said in the chat.
Is the bum in the chat?
I don't see him. Oh yeah, I see it. I see him. Yeah, he did say it.
I must be behind because I don't see that comment. Oh, 5th easiest in the schedule. Bum, are you still with us? Let us know.
I wonder who has the easiest schedule. I wonder who has the hardest.
I don't know, Tank. Can you look anything up on strength of schedule?
2021.
Oh, by the way, I have to give a shout out to my boy. We'll just call him D. My boy D. He hooked me up with the Blanton's bourbon. This is the shit. Thank you, man. I love it. It's delicious. I'm so happy I got it. Great bourbon. If you get a chance to get it, get it. It's awesome.
The Blantons sound like one of those like Hatfield McCoys, the feud.
Excuse me. So, they're playing what's that?
The bum is still here.
Okay, well,
he's not enjoying the show though.
Yes, enjoying the show, he says. Well, thank you for enjoying the show. Do you want to join us, bum? We'll bring you on, dude. If you want to join us. I don't know what your situation is.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Hello, how you doing?
I think you're back.
Yeah, this schedule looks pretty fucking easy, dude, for Tom.
It is.
That Washington game could be interesting. They almost lost, dude. Washington gave them the best game in the playoffs.
Dude, I like what Washington's doing, dude. That defense is going to be scary, bro.
Is that kid going to be the quarterback?
Fitzpatrick's going to be the quarterback.
Is he the starter, or are they going to give that guy a shot?
I'm pretty sure Fitzpatrick will be the starter.
Wow, I like the way that Heineke guy played, dude.
I do too, but I think Fitzpatrick he's not going to be over Fitzpatrick. Well, you know what? No. Well, let's see how it plays out.
Don't you want to kind of?
I got my money on Fitzpatrick.
Don't you kind of want to do a Miami thing there if you can? Get the young guy in there. If you need a relief pitcher, you got probably one of the best relief pitchers in the NFL to come in off the bench. I don't know.
So the lower the win percentage is, the easier the schedule, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So starting with the easiest, it's the Eagles. Then the Cowboys, Falcons, Bucks, Dolphins.
Yeah, you would figure some of those NFC East teams would be there because the NFC East is terrible.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, the hardest is Steelers, Ravens, Bears, Packers, Vikings. Says Raiders have the 8th hardest.
Wow.
So the division they're playing in. KC, San Diego's on the up, and Denver, I think, is going to be up as well.
How about Tim Tebow, guys?
And that's a non-story to me, man. I don't give a shit.
That's interesting, though.
Maybe it's just a cramp.
Do you think that guy deserves to be in the NFL? Yo, what's up, Big Remo?
Hey, Remo. Does he deserve to be?
Yeah.
If he makes the team, he deserves to be, but I ain't got a problem with it. But I just don't think it's a story, It's just, I don't know. He's been out for about 8 years or something.
Yeah, that's a story, dude. Who does that? Who's out of the NFL 8 years and comes back at a different position?
But he's not going to come back as a quarterback. He should have switched to – he's older now. He didn't want to make the switch when he was younger, so he was out of the NFL. Now his old college coach is now a coach.
Tim Tebow's Filipino?
No.
Maybe he was born there.
Maybe, because his family would go on a lot of missions, a lot of religious missions.
Okay.
Exactly, Remo. If he's good enough to make the team, play. But
Here's what's interesting to me, and I'll throw this caveat out there.
He's 33 years old.
yeah,
He's a young, physically fit man still,
yeah.
with not a lot of mileage on him. Right now,
Hey, I think is the bump backstage.
no, but I will send him the invite. Right now, if anybody's watching any baseball, you got Shohei Ohtani for the Angels. He's just ripping it up, pitching and hitting on the same days. In some cases, they're kind of getting 2-for-1 with him. What's to say you get a guy like Tebow on your team? He can play a little tight end. Maybe they put him at a little running back. Maybe you don't got to carry a third quarterback because he is a quarterback. He's probably going to be as good as any other third quarterback. You save a roster spot, maybe. Maybe this is a new age kind of thing, and it's not just doing a favor. Coaches don't do favors, dude. Coaches want to win, and this is it could probably end up being a valuable roster spot. Maybe he's not going to be an NFL MVP, but just maybe a useful guy, double tight end set, got him in there, maybe play a little special teams, backup quarterback.
Punt returner.
Kicker.
I don't know about all that.
Punter. Long snapper. He could be a long snapper.
Remo says it. I wouldn't sign if he's on the team.
It's what I heard a little bit was, he's a good locker room guy, good ethics and all that. He's a good team player, but we'll see.
I'd sign him, and he's going to sell you some tickets because he always brings a crowd.
That's a good point, definitely. But isn't Lawrence going to sell you some tickets?
Lawrence is going to sell you a lot of fucking tickets, but I'm sure you're going to get. There's Tim Tebow-aholics that follow that guy religiously. And the thing about Tebow versus somebody like Antonio Brown, there's a media circus around both of them. But I don't feel like Tim Tebow brings that. I don't know why that comes to him.
It's a positive feel, not a negative,
The people may be kind of crazy, but I don't think the dude is doing crazy stuff to attract that. It just, for whatever reason, he has that appeal to those people.
Yeah, they're more fanatical with him, maybe.
Yes, he may be.
Yeah.
You may be right, Remo. He may be stealing a little bit of thunder, but Jacksonville can use a little thunder. And
you know what? He still needs to make the team, so let's just wait and see.
Yeah, I'm sure he's gonna make the team, dude. Pretty sure. Do you want to take a vote on it? Is he making the team? I say yes.
Yes.
I'll go contrarian because that's what I do. I'll say no.
Oh, contraire, mon frere. All right. Let's bring on the bum. He's backstage.
Uh-oh.
He's probably been drinking if I know this guy. He's drinking right now. What's up, bum?
Damn, I'm sorry. I was in the green room having a greener. Gentlemen, how are we?
How are you?
What's going
I'm
on?
great, man. Actually, I'm drinking a beer and taking it easy because I'm going to see Milton this weekend, and I got to prepare myself for, the liver's got to be ready for him.
Yeah,
and my sister-in-law.
That's heavy duty stuff.
Yes. I have to
your
get
way.
used to those Bloody Marys at 6 a.m.
I haven't had one of those in a while, and I do enjoy those.
6 a.m. Bloody Mary?
Did you see the Bloody Mary that Milton is having now?
No.
He sent a picture of it.
What is it?
Like right now?
No, actually last weekend.
Oh.
Dude, his Bloody Mary has like a slab of bacon on top of it.
Yeah, but I've had it like that before. It's delicious. The thick cut.
Yes, I've never had that. It looks like a meal. It's got olives and like wow,
a cocktail.
Dude,
yeah, it's like a salad bar. It's like a salad bar on the top with a drink.
I love Bloody Marys, dude.
So you're getting your breakfast and your drink on at the same time.
Pretty much, man. Hey, by the way, guys, great guest, man. Solid guest. I think that's, right up there with Ben for me, man.
Oh, dude, I loved the guest tonight. Phillip was great. I wish we would have had more time. I didn't want to overstep our welcome there with him because he'd been on the road all day. But
yeah,
interesting guy. I could have talked to that guy for hours.
Me too. I'm kind of a history nerd too. Granted, I don't have a master's degree in history and I haven't written 5 books, but I went and looked him up and started to look through some of his stuff. Really interesting, man. Smart guy. Yeah, really cool. I enjoyed that. Good deal, guys.
Let's go buy some of Phillip's books and help him out, because that's a labor of love he's doing there. And that's a great program, dude. If anybody has a kid in school that kind of likes that outdoor stuff, man, that's a kick. I mean, if I was never a college guy, but if I was, dude, and that somebody told me, I would have been all over that, dude. That's super fucking cool, dude.
Yeah, it really is amazing. There's like a lot of grants and programs, for people. If you don't really take advantage of it, it's truly because you don't like school, but there's a ton of opportunities and probably more than ever, even since we went to school, right?
We have more of a shortage now, so
yes,
you got more of an opportunity, it seems.
What's Remo saying? That Tank should go apply for that grant thing?
Yeah,
is that what he's saying?
I think so.
Why don't you, bro?
With your beard and stuff, Tank, you'd be like that Grizzly Adams kind of guy out there. That would work.
They probably would give him like a beret. I imagine him in a beret.
A beret?
Yeah, I don't know why.
A beret? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like a Che Guevara kind of guy.
Oh man, I think animals automatically attack you if you wear a beret. I think that's a rule.
You know what else I could see Tank in? In one of those Davy Crockett hats with the raccoon tail on the back.
Coonskin hat.
There you go. Now that's something believable there.
Yeah. Can we play a game real quick?
Sure.
Okay, we'll play.
We already played it.
All right. We already played it. I want to play it again.
What game?
All right, guys. Imagine for a moment we're in the Wild West era. Mid-18.
That game?
Yeah, that game. Mid-1800s, right? That's the Wild West era. Cowboys and all that stuff. What role would you envision yourself playing in the Wild West?
We did this yesterday.
But we didn't do it on the show. We're doing it now.
We know the answers.
You could change your mind. John wasn't there.
All right, we'll change our minds.
Maybe you pondered on it and got a better.
No, actually, no. I'm sticking to mine. I know what I'm going to be.
Oh, we know what you are.
Oh, I can't change mine then.
A yellow belly.
Is that what you're saying?
All right, here's the game.
You're going to change yours now, right?
No, here's the game. You can say how you envision yourself, and then we say how we envision you.
Okay, Bum goes first.
Well, we should go first, and then
we should go first. Let him see how the game is played.
Okay. You want to hear what I am, Bum?
Sure.
I'm Mr. I forget what his name is on Little House on the Prairie. I'm the guy that owns I run the general store.
You can see that, right?
You know what? I can. And you know what I was thinking when you first mentioned this? Not of you, Hialeah, but of me. I'm thinking in all those movies, there's 2 guys they usually never kill. The Undertaker and the bartender. I think I'd be one of those.
I could see you as an Undertaker.
No,
you have to be.
Wow.
I definitely the Bum is in some type of saloon position, possibly one with a brothel attached to it or something like that. That's what I'm seeing there.
Those guys never get shot, or at least rarely.
But Hialeah is definitely running. He's like this guy on the left. Am I sharing the screen?
The assistant.
I'm running the general store.
Yeah.
And you know what, Hialeah? You know, the shopkeeper rarely gets shot either. The pretty safe spot.
They get robbed sometimes.
Yeah, but they never kill them because they need the store open to keep robbing it.
It's not a lot of money, but it's honest work.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got the apron on and a bow tie, right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, that's me.
He's not wearing a hat indoors, but when he goes out on the town, what kind of hat is he wearing? Let's see if the bum can guess what kind of hat we're thinking he's wearing. What kind of hat you think he's wearing?
What, the straw hat?
No.
Oh, you're giving him the Wahito hat. No,
It's even better.
we're thinking something else.
That kind of freaky visor thing.
No.
Oh, like the one that the car dealer wears?
Yeah.
The open top. It's only it's just with the open
I
top.
probably see you more in that
A
one.
visor. I'm wearing like a visor.
No, for me, he's wearing this on the nights out on the town. He's a
Oh, a derby.
Yeah,
Derby.
I don't think he has a feather on it. His is probably more like.
That's it. That's me right there.
You know what?
Yeah.
You're right. But I was thinking less formal. I see that so much formal there.
No,
That's
his is.
Derby.
That's for the night out.
That's a funny ass hat.
His is more beat up, probably.
Yeah,
Like
probably,
a working man's
Derby.
derby.
I was thinking something kind of, utility, kind of banged up and dirty.
Exactly.
But let's just wait. Goat, why don't you tell everybody how highly you think of yourself?
I'm being honest. I'm gonna say what I think I would be, and then you're free to say what you think I would be. I mean, it's no problem. This is all in good fun. I thought I would be some sort of livestock kind of guy. So and
An animal handler.
Yeah, I don't know why you're making fun of me because we would be doing business, me and you, Hialeah. I would be, slaughtering a couple cows a week, and you'd be turning that into jerky or whatever.
We'd be in business together.
We'd be partners, in a way. So I don't know why you're making fun of me. I could take my business elsewhere, also.
I see you also like. I think we mentioned it last night. A blacksmith.
I'm thinking something else, guys.
Now I'll say this. Go ahead.
I'm thinking if you translate, the current conspiracy kind of thing, you take it back, then I could see maybe like a snake oil salesman.
I like it. I like where you're going.
I dabble in that on the weekends as a side thing, but really my bread and butter is I'm moving that livestock.
Got it. That's the family business.
Yeah, and I'm not, like I told these guys the other day when we were talking about, I'm not really out to fight anybody, but I got a couple sets of iron on me, and right. I keep them sideways.
Maybe like a sheave from Dukes of Hazzard.
Remo's also taking a couple jabs there at me. That's all right. Remo, I'd be friends with you. We wouldn't cross each other. At least not from my end. So, how about you, Jonas? What do you envision yourself as in the Wild West?
I think you guys gave me a good one. I was thinking. I couldn't think of anything that had to do with like cooking and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely like in the saloon, maybe the bum's young upcoming assistant.
I
maybe
could
with
see you
the washcloth.
dealing cards, but I could see you dealing cards with a little visor, maybe.
I got to tell you though, the dealer and the sheriff got to be the shortest life expectancy in every Western. That's like, forget it. Those guys die first all the time.
Yeah.
What about the mayor?
The mayor's up there,
Crooked.
but he's usually crooked.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You gotta, in those positions, you're either if you're straight and narrow, straight like an arrow. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
If you're fucking, yeah, you're gonna die. Somebody's gonna kill you. or you become crooked and then you kind of, you snake your way and you're still there and you kind of.
Was Remo saying that I own the bar or the brothel?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure who. I know John would either own it or be there. He's either going to be a customer or involved somehow.
Yeah.
But if we were to take real life applications, as we kind of been doing, the bum would be. Let's see. How can we apply?
I guess he would be like a blacksmith, but not a blacksmith. Someone who goes around fixing like the registers,
something technical
stuff at the general store.
You know, it's funny. I used to fix registers way back when.
There's probably a picture of an old ancestor, installing the first register at Hialeah store or something.
I do remember those days. Yeah, I could see me doing that actually now. I don't think they had registers back then, but yeah. Well, they were more mechanical. I guess.
Yeah, like the typewriter type.
Big levers.
Yeah, 545.
Yeah, yellow belly.
Anyways, we got on that tangent last night, so
it's pretty funny.
I thought I'd bring that up.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Can I tell a hypothetical story, and then you tell me if the story is true or not?
Go.
Shout out. We got to take a drink. Shout out to Motorcycle Guy. If I were to tell you, I don't know if I want to tell a story. Should I tell a story? You guys know what's...
Does it have to do with anybody on the show?
Not anybody that's here right now.
Okay, well, then that's half the battle.
You know what? I'll save it for another day.
Yes.
Or you can make it. You could just not mention names if it's.
Oh, I wasn't going to mention names.
Oh,
say it then. Say it.
Look at Remo's little comment.
Bum is the main character friend that owes Goat money and is on the run. That may be. If there was anybody, yeah, that may be like. And then I get implicated somehow in his behavior. And I got to make that call. Like, do I want to risk my reputation?
Yeah.
And of course I do, and then we end up.
I do pay all my debts, so I'm very good at that. So.
Oh, he's a Lannister, this guy.
Yes. I'm a little taller, not much, just a little taller.
The imp is in the house. Okay, I'm not going to tell a story, dude. What do you think about Tim Tebow, by the way? It's been built up too much.
I just can't believe we're still talking about this guy, man.
Exactly. Who cares?
I just, wow. I really don't even want to talk about this guy. I mean,
perfect.
I want to know who Remo is in the old Wild West town.
Remo.
Who are you, Remo? We're in Tombstone. I'm slanging those cows. Jonas is flipping those cards, working behind the bar a little bit. The bum is selling registers, but then hanging out like way after the register has already been sold at the brothel. Hialeah's trying to make an honest living there in the general store, bringing us grains and whiskey and, whatever we need.
No whiskey. I don't sell no whiskey in my general store.
Okay, damn.
He's a Christian man.
Oh, wow, dude.
He's a Christian man, yeah.
That's right. He's running a family business there. He's not gonna do that.
He sells little wooden toys.
And he sure as hell closed on Sundays.
Yeah.
Sure as hell, yeah.
But he would be spotted at the brothel and the saloon
on Sundays
with that derby on, so people wouldn't recognize him.
Incognito.
Yeah. What else is going on, guys? You talked about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Hialeah. What was going on with that? You mentioned that.
They mentioned the people that got in, and then there's still the people that didn't get in this year.
Big snubs, right, Hialeah? Some snubs there, right?
There are every year there's snubs though.
Yeah.
It seems like one heavy metal they don't get in any. There's hardly no heavy metal.
Iron Maiden got knocked out, right?
They're not in.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, I would think they would be in, but there was a lot of good ones that did get in. I think it was Tina Turner that got in this year.
Yep.
Wow, dude.
The
Iron
Foo
Maiden
Fighters,
didn't.
They
But
haven't.
Jay-Z did.
Jay-Z got in. I think
Guys,
LL Cool J got in too.
Is it time we change the name of this Hall of Fame from
Yes, I would think so.
from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to just the Music Hall of Fame or something?
I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Oh, Cool J, Billy Preston, Randy
Even though
Rhoads.
Tina Turner did a little rock and roll,
Yeah.
especially with her old man. They used to beat her up.
Carole
Yeah.
King, bro. It took Carole King a long time to get in too, man.
The Go-Go's.
The Go-Go's got in, correct?
Yeah, they did. And the
the
Foo
Foo
Fighters.
Fighter. Oh, that's
Yeah.
a good one.
The
But
Foo Fighters, who inducted Rush several years ago, finally got in, which was kind of cool.
But Iron Maiden's not in?
Yeah, that's shocking.
Todd Rundgren got in?
Yes.
Wow.
Dude, isn't the Foo Fighters, and I don't know that much about the rock. I think these guys are newer than they are, but don't they seem kind of like relatively new to be getting in?
You got to have 25
Still,
years.
Yeah.
You got to have 25
In
years.
the
and you gotta
industry?
figure, from forming, I believe, and
Yeah,
they formed right after Kurt Cobain passed, and I honestly am not the biggest Foo Fighters fan. I do like a few of their songs, but I've never been really into them.
I mean, they're okay. I think, Dave Grohl's impressive, right?
Yes.
Coming from Nirvana and then into the Foo Fighters. I mean, that's pretty badass, man.
And he seems like a fucking badass guy, right?
Yeah. And actually, Taylor Hawkins, the drummer, is not
excellent.
Pretty cool guy, good drummer. But they got that kind of popish twist to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very, they got some good things.
They do. They're not. The one song that I do love from them is Everlong. That song is just a classic, dude. It's never get tired of hearing that song or watching the video. I think the video is hilarious. A lot of their videos are very parodic.
Yes.
Yeah. Remember they did the whole mental kind of video.
Yeah. So I'm kind of agreeing with you guys in a sense where, yes, it's a good band. Yes, cool things. But in essence, they are what would be in sports a first ballot Hall of Famer almost, because you said 25 years. They're probably just made the 25 years. And in essence, they're like a first ballot Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah, or close to it, yeah.
But maybe not deserving of first ballot status, right?
No, I don't believe so. No.
You know what I think is taken into consideration there, that those guys were with other bands and pretty good bands. I think that's being, not that it should be, but I think that's at the back of people's mind. Dave Grohl's been around for a long time, and with another supposedly, well, what I think is a great band, Nirvana. Not everybody likes them, but I think people look at it that way. I think Taylor Hawkins was with another band too, so maybe they're seeing that kind of whole professional catalog. But
is Nirvana in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Yeah, they're in.
Yeah, that would be a travel.
Go into Big Remo's. We never got what he was going to be in the Old West.
Okay, so Dave Grohl is now a two-time inductee.
Two-time. Yeah, two-time.
I'm sure.
How many of those are there?
Oh, Rebo. I'm sure I would have been a free slave like Django, and now I own a brothel and other business with a Latin wife and a native wife. Does that mean two?
Yes.
And so you might be in the Utah territory, way out west. Honorable mention. There Goes My Hero. No, you're my hero, dude.
No, that's
Yeah.
that's.
That's a song.
I understand.
I know.
I got it. I've heard the song. There goes my. No, I'm not gonna do it.
I gotta tell you, I kind of like Remo's.
Ballot. You know what? I don't got a problem with Jay-Z getting in on his first ballot.
I just don't know if it belongs in this Hall of Fame, man.
But change it. I think it's already should have been
Yeah.
changed a long time ago.
I agree. It should be something else. Music, pop music, something.
Yeah, or order of induction aside, I think these three people that Remo's mentioning, Jay-Z, Run DMC, Public Enemy, of course, those are some of the greatest acts of all time, dude. They're deserving of, if we're talking like a music Hall of Fame, you know, like.
But I'm not
so influential.
I'm not holding Jay-Z out because they didn't get in on their first ballot. Okay, I think he's that influential too, as far as his producing everything that he's done. It's not just the music, you know. But that's a whole different category. He's going in for the music. So,
what are you holding in your hand? A lemon or a stress ball?
A stress ball.
Well, are we stressing you out, dude?
You make me nervous.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's back from your general store days.
Yes.
It's
how I cope.
Back then, it was a lemon.
When he was slanging those lemons, when Tuco would go in, would you sell firearms at your place of business?
No firearms.
Straight in,
man.
Bear traps.
Straight in there. Okay, yeah, a little bit varmint hunting material.
Yeah, maybe rifles, but definitely not handguns.
Not handguns, rifles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like your, Walmart used to do that, right?
Yeah.
Remo's was well thought out.
So no Iron Maiden.
Yes, I like Remo's concoction there. That's pretty good.
Yeah, Remo, I gotta have you on the show soon for one of these late night episodes if you're available. We'll get in touch, man. I want to talk to you. We want to have you on, right, guys?
Yeah.
Remo's
okay.
I love that guy.
He's okay.
He's more than okay. Come on.
He's all right.
He's one of the boys.
He's all right.
So I saw that you guys are pretty optimistic on the Dolphins.
Well, we ran through. Hialeah had him at 10-7. I had him at 12-5. Tank had him at 13-4, based on a hypothetical rundown of the schedule, which it never works out the way you think. What would you give him?
From a record? Oh, by the way, did you verify we're 17 games? Because I heard the counting was short.
You missed the Jacksonville game.
We had missed the Jacksonville game on the first list for whatever reason, but yeah, it is 17 games.
Got it. Yeah, I expect them to win in that 10 or 11 range, and mostly because they're playing one of the softest schedules. So
really what we're saying, Bum, is there's not going to be much improvement.
No, and I think Hialeah touched on it, right? It's mainly because Tua's going to be in there the whole time.
He's still going to be learning. He's still going to be learning. Man.
This is going to be, the learning year full time versus only a couple games of learning. So
I think the team is going to be improved overall. I don't think the wins will reflect that because they're still Tua. And honestly, I think next year they got to go after – they got to get a high pick. They got to spend a high pick on a running back, either second. I'm not saying a one, but they need a running back.
Don't get me started on that. Look, I know everybody says that they had the best draft, man.
They needed to address it.
I say this. If it would have been me, I would have picked Pitt. I would have stayed at 3. I would have picked Pitts or Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
And at 18, I would have gotten Najee Harris. Now, you tell me that's not where you want to be after that, and you address your needs.
I think I would have stayed at 3, and yes, I agree with you at the 3. Najee Harris, I don't know if he would have been the one, but I definitely would have gone maybe after the guy that Denver got, the guy from one of the North Carolina guys or somebody like that.
That would have been good too.
That's what I feel. I think I actually think a lot of people don't want to hear it, but dude, I get the trenches. Get another. I wouldn't have minded another offensive tackle, a guard.
Soe Pennell, dude, that's the guy I wanted. However you got him, dude.
Nah, I'm kind of dude. They spent a couple of draft first round picks last year, offensive line. They traded up in the second round for a tackle. I mean, I think they addressed that.
Do you think those were successful? Do you think we solved the problem?
With the amount of picks that they had, they could have addressed that again, or maybe some more D-line, dude. Or linebacker.
But that's the question.
Guys, they could have had the third best player in the draft and still have like a decent running back with the 18th pick. And they kind of went away from that.
You don't think that Soe, whatever his name is, Pennell, whatever, you don't think that guy's going to be a multi-time Pro Bowler?
Probably so. I don't know, but that wasn't their focus coming in based on what they said.
Yeah.
They said they wanted to get one of those top tier, receivers. They told everybody that the guy that they really wanted was Jalen Waddle.
But isn't that easy to say now after the fight that that's what you got?
Exactly. How could you turn away a top 3 player in the draft? I understand you got a few more picks, but you don't get a shot at that top 3, realm all the time. Why are you going to trade out of that?
But
I don't know.
I gotta tell you,
I think they outsmarted themselves.
I'm not trading out of this. I know you kind of down talked this. This is fucking awesome, dude.
Well, let me restate my case on that. I said that for the amount of effort that you have to do to get one of those bottles, I didn't find it to be monumental. And I will go with something that I could easily pick up, like a Buffalo Trace or a Woodford anytime.
I agree with you, but if that's on the shelf for $60, I'm buying it every time, dude.
If I went to a store and it was always there, yeah, I might get it more often. But the fact that it's kind of hard to get,
it's impossible to get. Yeah.
Yeah,
but it is good.
It's not bad, no.
Love it. Shout out, Danny.
I'm glad you finally tried it.
Yes, so am I, man.
I haven't had a nice Macallan in a while.
Well, I have some here next time you go. Maybe next Friday. We're doing hopefully a live in-person whiskey bourbon tasting Friday night. So
I need to pick one up.
I haven't had a good 7 and 7 in a long time.
7 and 7.
What are you in casino or something?
Saturday Night Fever.
Do you make Tom Collins with that?
I believe so.
I haven't had a Tom Collins in a while.
What about a Mad Dog?
2020?
Grape?
The dragon fruit.
Those old high school drinks. Anybody see any highlights? Canelo Saunders?
No.
Yeah, I saw
the smashing of the face I saw. Devastating.
It was disappointing, but you almost watching the fight, you almost saw some, not like that exactly, but you saw that coming. Saunders was like outpointing him, like pitter-patting him, and then Canelo he's like a bull, dude. He was just kind of like measuring him, and then it really was one punch, dude, and that's it. It was over. I don't think Canelo will lose anymore. I don't think there's anybody out there for him to lose to. And they say this guy's career is in jeopardy now, Billy Joe Saunders, from that one punch.
Really? What did he break? His eye socket?
His orbital something or other.
That's a very thin bone, ain't it?
Yeah, I guess that's why. God knows how that heals.
Yeah. That's a shame if it is.
What's kind of fucked up is there was another fighter from the UK, Dubois was his name, heavyweight fighter last year. The same thing happened to him. And then Billy Joe Saunders came out and said, that would never happen to me. You got to break both my eye sockets. You got to do you got to kill me, and then that old famous saying, "Easier said than done," right? Comes up. Wait till it's you.
Yeah.
You know? And then it ended up being him, and
Never say never.
he was in the corner. Yeah, he could have gone on if he wanted to. He was gonna get fucked up. He was gonna get. I never seen a punch. You usually see a black eye develop over a few rounds. You know, it starts to get worse. That was one punch, and immediately his whole, the size of a softball, it just turned purple, like almost immediately. So I get it. It was a devastating injury that happened to him.
What round was that in?
I believe it was the 8th round. He managed to fight through the rest of the round that he got the punch in, but he just, when he sat, they tried to put the cold cold iron thing on his eye, and he didn't continue after that. They threw in the towel, but throwing in the towel is saving face sometimes, right? He basically didn't. He could have continued if he wanted to. The doctors did not stop the fight. I want to make that part clear.
Right. Speaking of physical altercations, did you guys see UD and against, I think it was Dwight Howard? They both got ejected. UD sending a message to the Sixers there. Looks like the Heat are in pretty good playoff situation there, and I guess the Panthers too, man. Shockingly enough.
When did they start? Is that tomorrow or Sunday?
I think it is this weekend, and I get it's against Tampa.
Yeah,
they're starting their playoffs already.
Yeah,
so
wow, they just started in January, right?
I think it's an abbreviated season for them.
Yeah,
Stanley Cup's always been around June though.
Yeah, but I think this season they've shortened it. It's a short.
Yeah, they started like early January, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because they normally start in October.
It kind of mirrors the
basketball.
Yeah.
Jeez, I think I'm ripped.
Are you?
I feel
but
like
you're not slurring your speech like that last time. Oh, sorry.
No, that was a tequila.
Where you had some type of regurgitation scenario, right? Didn't you?
Later on, it wasn't live on the air.
No, that would have been cool, but no,
that would have got the ratings up. But no, I couldn't manage to do that. That was Hialeah was with me on that one. That was a marathon day. We did double duty. It was Brady. I was in rare form that day.
Yeah,
it was Brady, and then we did another show, which you probably shouldn't have done, which was like, what was it?
I don't remember, but it was very bad.
It was Brave New World versus
George Orwell.
Yes,
yeah.
1984.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what it was. I'm feeling almost like I felt that day. To be honest.
I guess that one's pretty good then, is what you're saying.
I gotta tell you, I never drank what I drank that day again. Oh,
by the way, since you mentioned Brady first, that means, I could easily touch on the fact that I'm expecting not to enjoy football this season again because of that fucking team.
And didn't the NFL draw that up beautifully where he goes to play in New England and all the AFC East?
And I think they're raising their banner that game.
I think they're playing in New England.
In New England.
Oh, okay, never mind. There was a significant game where they're raising their. I thought that would have been perfect then.
That would have been a nice.
Speaking of cheaters, anybody keep up with horse racing?
I heard about it.
Band.
Yeah, Medina Spirit.
Yeah.
Apparently, he was using some funky cold Medina or something. The horse was juicing, and that trainer, who I've always seen pictures of that guy, he's like a big guy who's the trainer of this horse. I guess he finagled a way to get the horse to be able to compete under more strict testing for the next round of the Triple Crown.
The Preakness.
Yeah, which I think, is that this weekend?
I think so.
So yeah, even fucking horses are cheating.
But
Nowadays.
that's the thing. Is it him or the horse has to have some responsibility into what he's doing too, right?
Well, it's the trainer. The horse usually doesn't.
But the horse has to have some has to be held some kind of level of responsibility as far as what he takes into his or her body.
Are you saying the horse was like, "Hey, dude, I need a little extra"?
I'm just saying you can't just pinpoint everything on this guy. I think he's almost like a patsy, a scapegoat kind of thing.
No, this guy has a track record, dude.
Yeah, he actually does.
Multiple infractions over the years. With
Maybe he's just picking the wrong horses to work with.
He's
the
picking
wrong
the wrong
trainer.
He's picking the wrong horses to juice up, or the right horses to juice up. I don't know. How
I
you
don't
look
know,
at that?
but I'm not putting it all on him. That's all I gotta say.
Any more sports? I don't have any more sports here. Ellen DeGeneres is calling it quits. You guys heard
Thank
about
God.
After
I'm
19
sorry.
years of
Did I say that out loud?
that? Let me ask you guys an honest question. How many times have you watched her show in these
Never.
19 years or whatever?
I could honestly say that I've never seen it.
whole show from start to finish, or like little snippets?
Nah, I've seen snippets of it.
Yeah, I have seen like, J-Lo on says this on Ellen DeGeneres.
Okay,
I've seen those things.
We're excluding those then.
I think everybody's seen
Right.
those. Like, oh, this happened today.
Right.
I'm saying, like, how many times have you been like, oh,
From start to finish, never.
Yeah,
or
I've
let
never
me
seen
check
it.
out
Never.
what's going on.
Never.
Exactly. That's exactly how I feel about this.
But it was a big thing, man. It was a big show. People, the ladies love it, or used to love it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, she was making.
Yeah, bang.
Could that lady make that much money doing anything else?
No.
What did she start out as? A comedian, right?
Yeah, stand-up comedian.
Actress. Then she had that show Ellen, right? Also
Yes,
later.
Yeah, she did.
I gotta tell you, I never.
Never. Me neither.
I could care
No.
less.
I could care less either. You don't have to say it.
I would have to agree. And another one that kind of falls into that category is Rosie O'Donnell for me.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Pretty much, you could put
What
her
was
in
her
that
show,
same-
Roxanne or something like that?
No, you're thinking of Roseanne Barr.
Oh,
Didn't
I
really care
kind
for
of
her.
like Roseanne a little bit.
I don't.
I don't either.
I do like John Goodman though.
Those are three. You could lump all three of those the three of them together.
Yeah, I would have to agree with Hialeah. They're almost the same for me.
Roseanne was the biggest though. She was big.
But Roseanne was in the non-PC kind of like dude
Raunchy.
camp.
Yeah.
She was different. Ellen, I put her more in like the phony.
Rosie O'Donnell.
We're dancing, and then backstage
Well,
she's fucking
Like beating up
destroying
her
staff.
employees. Yeah.
Roseanne was a train wreck, and she was fucking a train wreck. Like
Yeah.
you knew who she was, right? Like there was no fake. She is Roseanne. You know what I mean? Maybe that's the only reason why I maybe respect her a little bit more than some of these other people personally. You know what I mean? I'd rather have a authentic person with faults
That a fake. Yeah.
that you know who they are.
I probably would have felt that way about her until she disgraced the national anthem, and I didn't really care for that.
Yeah, that was not good.
But I think that turned off. I think that's when she started to go down. That really turned off a lot of people.
Yeah, I thought that was that's just disrespectful. But
Before then, she was funny. After that, she did that. Oh, you know what? She's not that funny.
Yeah, some of the stuff was trying too hard to be funny, to be shocking,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
To you, what you brought up, I did like Goodman. I thought always liked him.
Yeah, he was in Big Lebowski.
Oh my God, that's his best character for me.
Yeah.
There's a couple more where he's like a supporting actor.
He played the babe.
Yeah.
Do you guys like the Big Lebowski?
Love it.
I do.
Tank, have you ever seen that? If not, please watch it.
No.
Must see.
Oh,
Must watch.
yeah, that's a must.
And honest, you probably got to watch it more than once. To
Oh, yeah.
really
Yes,
get into it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think when it really hit me was probably the second time I watched that movie.
Me as well. Me as well.
And another one that you recommended, the was it Fearing and Loathing
Fear and Loathing in
Las Vegas?
Yeah.
That's another one that I had to watch a second time, and then it like, all right, this is good.
That's Hunter S. Thompson
Yeah.
with Johnny Depp as Hunter. I kind of judge people based on whether they like The Big Lebowski or not. If you tell me you don't like it, I'm like, man, something wrong with this guy.
Find me the woman that does.
Not gonna happen. Hey, the Jesus. That's an awesome piece, dude.
Yeah,
No one fucks with the Jesus man.
yeah.
Have you heard the theory that Danny is dead?
Yes, I have.
I have yet to go back and watch with that theory on my mind.
Yeah.
What? I'm not familiar with that. What is it?
It's a theory that, you know, Danny, who is Steve Buscemi, Buscemi, who was the guy who goes to bowl with them and stuff.
Yes.
And they rarely pay attention to him, and they kind of like he says stuff, and they don't like even acknowledge him a lot of times, or most of the time. So there's like a whole theory that like that guy's actually like a ghost or dead, and he's not really there.
I don't believe it because they do address him.
I have to watch it. But yeah, that's one of this guy's best characters. Speaking of characters, we met a funny character at the bar last night. You guys remember this guy? We met last night?
No.
Of course you do. The guy with 9 fingers.
Yeah. The guy that was fishing.
It's weird when people just come up to you and they just start like talking to you at a bar that you don't really know, and they just go and hang out and like start giving you too much information about their life and stuff.
I'm always concerned about those people.
There's something
amiss. These two guys. Oh no, he's okay. He was entertaining, and I was annoyed from the beginning. I was like,
well, here's my impersonation of Hialeah while the guy's talking to us. That's all he was doing at the table the whole time the guy was talking to us. I didn't think he was okay. I thought it was weird, and
yeah, I don't care for those things myself.
Me neither.
Call me unfriendly.
Yeah, I think I'm very friendly, but I don't like that either.
I'll do a little small talk. You know, like we talked to the owners of the bar, and that was cool. You know, and they were super nice. And shout out to the.
That's different.
Yeah,
that's different.
Shout out to the Keg South. That's our local hangout spot. But this guy was like giving us like his personal financials and business plans and life.
When I hear the financials, I usually expect for a request for money at that point.
I believe that idea was fished out there to see if anybody was like, oh yeah, I'd love to get in on that.
Yeah.
But I think when he saw that, he withdrew. But it's funny. You meet funny people at the bars.
Nothing good happens after 12.
No.
Yes. He was trying to social engineer you guys into maybe a scam.
Bro, he brought up a strip joint, going to strip joints. He brought up what he's done to his house. He's got a big house. He bought it for this 5 years ago.
Brazilian tile.
He's got the Brazilian tile. And
Nobody has that. Nobody has that down here.
And then his young friend came out, you know.
His young friend.
they had to go.
Hey, can I ask you guys about your personal experiences? Maybe people you know, or people at work, or whatever, without getting into details about unemployment and what's going on with unemployment right now.
What, the fact that there's a ton of jobs that are open and they can't be filled because people are getting stimulus money and not wanting to work?
How can you have all these people on unemployment and at the same time a shortage of positions to be filled?
Well,
there's a failure there, right?
Supposedly it's because, they're making more money not working.
Yeah. Why work?
So what are we breeding, dude? We're breeding communism. What are we doing, dude? Giving away free money where people you're making it so people don't even want to work? What are we doing? What's going on here?
I'm afraid that any statement I may say now will take us down the political rabbit hole, which would endanger your viewership.
That is always in danger and sometimes non-existent. So feel free.
Well, I will say this: there's several states that have stopped those payments because they wanna force people back to the labor market. So there's a lot of states that are saying, "Thanks, federal government, but no thanks. We're good. We want people to start working." A place that's been hit really bad is actually Vegas, from what I understand.
Really?
They can't get a lot of the hotels are starting to, the capacity is starting to come up. They can't get housekeepers. They can't get really any of the service jobs because those jobs typically don't, pay a lot. You got to work a lot of hours to make decent money in that. That's how they're arranged, and people are saying, "Screw it! I'm kind of making about the same, staying home." I got to think those people are not that smart because it's kind of short-sighted. That they're not going to be on the payroll forever, and they might as well get back into the workforce to start making money long term. But I guess they don't see it that way.
Yeah, look, I have a personal experience. I had to call the unemployment office today for some claims that were filed. Over under, how many hours was I on the phone today? Would you say?
Well, heck, most of those federal local government websites and phone systems, you got to be holding just in hold time a good period of time. Couple of hours, half the day.
Half the day. I spent 4 hours on the phone. I didn't resolve much. I told the lady, I go, you could probably resolve a lot of these unemployment claims by hiring a couple extra people to answer these fucking phone calls, so I don't have to be 4 hours on the phone just to find out. And it's a mystery. Unemployment is a mystery. You don't know, like, who's getting money from you as an employer, or how long, or how much, or they almost purposely make it unclear. You think that the government is paying out unemployment, but the employers are paying out unemployment. Employers have to pay tax into that, and
Fund,
then so that they're giving the money, but they're not the one. The money's not coming from them. The money is coming from the businesses, and unfortunately, it's such a hassle to fight them that most companies will just pay it, and not worry about fighting it, because who has an employee to dedicate just to fight those claims? Most small companies at least don't.
What I remember is that usually at the unemployment hearings, I guess we would do calls. It would usually be over the air, over the phone, and usually the company's lost. That's what I remember.
Yeah, it's hard to prove. I mean, I had a guy who worked for me. I probably shared the story with everybody here. I'll share it again. I hired him to work full time. Within a couple weeks, he came to my office and he said, I can't work all these hours because it's interfering with my gym time and I have to walk my dog. You would have thought I had Arnold Schwarzenegger working for me, dude. This guy could have been like the bum asking for my basically body type on the corner of your house.
No pun, no hard, no disrespect, Bum.
No disrespect to bums. I mean,
Oh, I thought it was to this Bum.
no, just bums in general. It's an insult to bums to call him a bum. I mean, when this guy told me this, I was waiting for, Ashton Kutcher to pop out and say, you're punked. Like, what? You got to walk your dog and go to the gym? Like, that's why you can't work? And then, I'm paying unemployment to this person. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I've been in management for a good part of the latter part of my career now, and certainly we could probably do a separate show on the kind of excuses over the years that people have given for either not to come to work or because they're not doing their job, or that's a separate show right there. But there's a lot of crazy things. I have not heard, though, the gym and the dog walking as one of them.
No, that's an all-time great. Followed closely by, I had another guy who, within a span of a month, some people here may know who he is. Within a span of a month, this guy fell off a ladder, got Terrell Davis level migraines. His mother fell on top of him.
Did he fall from the ladder at work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Allegedly. Fall or jumped. We're not sure. Migraine headache kicked in halfway to work where you had to turn around. You're already halfway to work. You could have drove the other half.
Yeah.
Mother fell on top of him was like a follow-up to that. I can't even remember the other ones. It was like an endless list of, this guy was either a pathological liar or the most unlucky person on the face of the earth.
How long did he have?
I had a couple of those people.
Grandmothers died. I don't know how many grandmothers died in his lifespan.
You know what I started to do as a habit? I think I've told you this before, Goat. After a while, like if any of my employees, were gone for a while and I didn't hear from it was just an automatic thing for me to go onto the Broward County or Miami-Dade, arrest record website and just pull up their name. And sure enough, many a times, okay, I see what happened here.
Now I know why.
Now I know why he's really not at work. I had one weird one. I had a gal that worked for me, and her husband or boyfriend called in, left me a voicemail to say that she wasn't coming into work because she had a really, really bad menstrual cycle. But he explained what was happening, how they used multiple pads and nothing. It was just unstoppable. And he got into all this detail. And I think the voicemail was like 3 minutes. Which
it's one of those
is long for a voicemail.
Well, yeah, especially when you're describing that type of activity.
Yes.
And that's one of
and
those.
You're calling for your wife or your girlfriend.
Yeah, that's one of those where you're like, okay, just stop the bullshit. I already get where it's going. You don't need to keep going. And this harkens back to what we were talking about last night, Hialeah. When you give too much detail in the lie, it's a lie.
It's a lie.
The more detail you give, the more you're trying to convince me of your
lie.
Yeah, just tell me you're walking your dog, and then
keep it short and simple. too much details. It's 99% bullshit.
Save me a little time. Make it a simple one. Don't tell me, all these details that.
Or when you're calling, oh, I'm sick. Oh, come on, man.
I had another good one where this guy, and this was another voicemail that followed up with a long email because this guy was then gone for days. Apparently, this couple, the guy worked for me, he had a baby with this girl, and the baby was crying a lot, enough that the neighbors were concerned and they called the cops because I guess they thought they were doing something to the baby. But supposedly it was just that the baby was really colic. But when the cops went inside the house, this is the guy telling me, they noticed that there was some prescription medication on the counter. And they looked at the prescription medication and when it was prescribed and the amount of pills left and calculated that they overabused the medication and arrested them.
Wow, the cops came to this conclusion.
This is the story I got. This is a story
from them.
This is a story from my employee on why they have not been to work for the last 2 days.
So they incriminated themselves to get out of going to work. Now, that seems like police work that we do not see on a regular basis.
That would be very, very,
CSI.
The awareness on that.
The awareness, exactly.
Well, the simple math involved is probably beyond, your regular.
Wait a minute. First of all, could you even rifle through somebody's prescription drugs, when you're there over a noise complaint? I guess, right? Probable cause. And then you look at the pill. Wait a minute. This was prescribed 2 weeks ago and you only have one pill left. How many of these are you taking? I mean, come on.
It sounds like a TV show, like something like fucking Tully Savalas or somebody like that would fucking figure it out at the end of the show. And then that's how they got.
Tully Savalas.
Wow. Kojak.
Wow.
But then I start thinking, maybe this has to be true because who would think of this to say that just for missing work?
There's all kind of lies, dude. You remember what we used to say in Spanish, or we still say it when somebody tells you a lie? What do they call it in Cuban talk?
Un paquete.
Un paquete is used, but this is another one. It's a
fruit.
It's a fruit.
Una guayaba.
Una guayaba. Somebody who I think almost everybody here knows this guy. I'm not gonna name him. He worked at Publix, and I think he had 2 jobs at the time. To get out of one of the jobs, he told the other job that he got injured at work, and a pallet of guava juice fell on his leg.
That's perfect.
I'll tell you off air who this was, and it was a fucking hilarious one.
That's perfect.
So he dropped a guava with a pallet of guava on his foot to get out of work. Now, you got to go to sleep, dude. Are you going to stay for 1973 draft analysis or you're out?
Yeah.
I'm going to say one time I felt one more when I felt really bad about one of these
individuals.
Who is that?
Let's take.
Who do you think that is?
Wow.
We're in the old Brian Cox jersey, dude.
Cox. So I'll tell you one more where the paquette actually was real and ended up shocking me on the news. So this guy that works for me, he's gone for 2 days. Sure enough, I look him up. He got arrested. He comes back and tells me what happened. He was at a friend's house and they were working on his car, and the police came and arrested him because they said that he looked like a guy who stole another car somewhere else. And I'm listening to this, and I go, oh, this guy was on a bender, or he actually did steal a car. I didn't believe him. I said, this guy's a bullshitter. I was saying all kinds of things. Like a week later, the guy was on NBC News telling that story, all dressed up in a suit. They were interviewing him, and he was filing a complaint against the Miami Police Department. And I go, damn, one of these stories was actually true.
Then you start doubting yourself, right? The next time somebody calls in.
I felt bad. I ended up firing him, not because of that, because he had other issues down the road. But that time, it looked actually real.
That's like the one time Jose Canseco told the truth about people taking steroids, but everything else he said was bullshit.
I sort of wrap all of that stuff up under like the George Costanza kind of scenario, those stories, all those kind of complications he would get himself into. There's a lot of people like that.
There's complicated people that get caught up in complicated things. Like I know this is a friend of my wife's. She likes to hang out with people who go to fancy places sometimes, she likes to be in that crowd, when there's like an event, she finds herself there. She ended up getting somehow hooked up on a kind of a date with a kind of important guy. And the next thing you know, from her going out on like a couple dates with this guy that like a friend hooked her up, she went to a dinner and that guy was there. She happened to sit next to that guy. She talked to that guy a little bit, and then they went somewhere else the next day. And the next thing you know, on that weekend, she was in a People magazine kind of magazine, like, who is the new mystery woman in so-and-so's life? And she had like a recent husband who she was still kind of, involved with a little bit, kind of like an innocent, not 100% innocent, but like she's always at the wrong place at the wrong time. She ends up in this magazine, portrayed as something she really isn't. And it's just because she's kind of a complicated person. She just got in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's people that have a propensity towards that type of thing.
Yeah.
It was like unbelievable.
The proverbial moth to the flame, huh?
Yeah.
Bro, I think I'm going to head out too, bro. I'm falling asleep.
All right, old man. We will see you when we see you.
All right.
That's a nice statue you have back there, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you to Manufacturing Figures. What new items do you have from Manufacturing Figures?
We don't have anything. Just show us that statue. Can you show us the statue?
It's kind of hard, man.
All right. That's what she said.
She said.
You can make me big.
Kiss on the lips.
I'm not sure if I want to make you big. I don't know what you're talking about, but
hard to see it. It's a Doctor Strange, man, but it's freaking beautiful.
Doctor Strange sideshow maquette, and you have it paired up with some sort of comic book there, I think. What is he in a similar pose in that book?
Not so much of a similar. I'll bring the comic. I could bring the comic. That I could bring.
All right, yeah. Don't ruin that statue. Look at your Captain America carpet in the middle.
You like that?
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, dude. I got some nice touches. Got my Captain America.
Nice chancletas.
You like the chancletas?
Yeah.
Saul.
Did you know that he doesn't know how to say his name in Spanish?
I saw that.
I can't roll the R's. But this is a Doctor Strange.
Very
First
nice.
appearance.
Not his first appearance, but his first time in his self-titled book. So it's a pretty big.
That's Doctor Strange #1.
It's Doctor Strange, but it's 169 because it continues from Strange Tales 168.
Okay. Gotcha.
And is a top rating a 10?
Yeah, but usually a 9.8 is probably 10 is unheard of pretty much. In a book from this age, a 9.8 is the best you're gonna find, if any. So an 8.0 is actually a very good grade in this.
Absolutely.
This is from 68.
1968?
Wow, that's as old as me.
Wow, dude, that's older than dirt, dude.
Hey, Bum, are you an 8.0?
I'm not sure what rating he would have.
You have an 8.0 grade?
Wait, if we would have encapsulated him at an early age, maybe.
Yeah, maybe like in third grade. I haven't been an 8.0 in a long time.
Hey, Hialeah, before you go, because we were talking about people calling in sick and, blah, blah, blah stories. You've been in management. What percentage, I'll ask everybody, what percentage of call-outs do you think are just straight up bullshit? And then maybe you can even just apply them to yourself and then friends. And what percentage of call-outs do you think are just straight up bullshit?
Okay, I'll give you how many times I called in and they were bullshit. I worked 32 years at Publix. I had 2 bullshit calls.
That's like almost, you could say, none.
I barely called out in those 32 years, and 2 of them, I'll tell you, it was straight bullshit. One was while I was a stockman, and the other one was when I was in management. I just didn't fucking feel like going.
And what was the excuse you gave?
I was just sick. I didn't give a major excuse because I already know that. I'm not going to get into details because that's how I feel about it. So the less you say, the better. So I didn't give a big elaborate story or anything. Hey, man.
All right. But what percentage of call-outs do you think are bullshit? If you had to give it a number.
I'm going to go. I'll say between 30 and 40 are bullshit.
Tank?
60-40.
60 are bullshit, 40 legit?
Yeah.
Bum?
Man, I'm a pessimist in this category. I'm going to say 70-30 bullshit.
Yeah, I guess I'm the most I was gonna say 80-20, like 80% of them are crap.
I think a lot of times people call out sick and they really could make it to work and they just choose not to. And a lot of times that I found that I wanted to call out sick because I was sick and I ended up, no, man, I'm gonna go, and I would go sick. I usually felt better once I got to work and I was fine.
In my years when I, could do that, I found that I almost would prefer to save. I wouldn't want to call out when I was a little bit sick. I'll be like, you know what, dude, I'll fucking save this for a day that I'm going to do something. I'll tough it out. And then maybe I'll bullshit one later and really, fucking do something cool.
I agree with you. When I left, dude,
which is fair, right? It's almost fair to your employee. I'm going to fucking go, and then, you know what? I'll fucking hit you up for one.
Dude, when I left, I had 960 hours of sick time that I never used.
Did they pay it out?
No.
Oh, you should have called in sick.
I should have. Well, there were certain people. Well, not certain people. There were people that left Publix and they didn't work the last 6 months because they took care of an operation and they were out. They stayed out. They did this. I wasn't gonna do that, man. It's just
that goes back to that old general store thinking from your ancestors.
I just left. I wish they would have paid it, but it's not part of their policy. So
honest Hialeah, that's what they called them.
Yeah, 960 fucking hours of sick time.
Wow.
What does that work out to?
I couldn't accumulate anymore. I couldn't accumulate. I had reached the top.
That's 120 days. That's a third of a year.
Yeah.
Well, more. More because a work week is just 5 days.
Oh, I did it by 24. I was like, what the fuck
Yeah.
are you talking about?
24 weeks. 24 weeks. Holy shit, dude! You're the real MVP, dog.
Yeah, that's impressive, man.
I don't know. I didn't have the best attendance record, but when I was there, I worked.
I also don't like being late. I also don't like being late. I don't like.
Yeah, no, I don't like that either.
That was not my forte, and it still isn't.
That you've consistently carried on.
Yeah, yeah. I've noticed that about you. You're pretty consistent with not doing that one.
Guilty as charged.
I mean, now he tries to blame that on his family, but I think it has nothing to do with the other people. I think it's all about you.
If you're talking about family events and going to them, I have usually intentions to be on time, but at this point in my life, there's other factors and forces working against me that I simply cannot control.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm talking football games. I'm talking just about anything.
Getting to
I'm not gonna argue with you. I couldn't argue with it.
Getting to the keg, he's got to drop a loaf, right at the time he's leaving,
Guilty. I may be the last to show up, but I am the last to leave.
I don't know about that.
I'm out of here, guys.
Me too. I was falling asleep.
You see, I'm gonna be the last to leave. Bye, guys.
Take care, guys.
Later.
Take it easy, guys.
And
Take
Bum,
care,
I'll outlast you on this show too if you're gonna stick around. Nice hat, bro. Roberto Lopez. What's up, Berto? Bum, you have anything else on the docket? Dude, let me tell you this real quick while you're thinking about that.
Yeah.
Prices for the Buccaneers Patriots game starting $1,300, all the way up to $12,000.
Dude, they basically returned that team in its entirety. I got a feeling we're gonna suffer through more of this shit, dude. And this fucking guy.
Maybe there'll be some sort of injury.
That's the only thing that. And then on the other side, you have this freaking Bella bum, packing on wins to close in on Don Shula. I mean,
with more opportunity now, right? You got an extra game to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel like I'm being squeezed by them now more. Because before they just beat up on the Dolphins, but now it's just like they're everywhere. These bastards.
Now it's like they split. Now there's fucking two of them.
Yes.
It's like that old line from Good, Bad, and the Ugly. One bastard walks in, two bastards walk out. Now we got to deal with both these fucking entities.
Yeah, and I don't. I'm less concerned with New England, like as a football team. I do think this guy's going to get his wins though, and old Tommy Terrific, man. Drew Brees out of that division. I mean, what do they got there left? Aaron Rodgers to stop him? Maybe.
We don't know where he's going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, he's defied all odds in his career. The last odd he has to defy is that old man. It happens to every old player. An injury.
Yes.
The old player always has 227. What's 227, Big Remo? An old player always has that injury that stops him and sets him back late in his career.
Yeah, the loss of arm strength started to happen with Manning, where he starts throwing these weird ducks.
Marino can't walk.
Can't walk, and the pick sixes, the other way start to multiply.
Montana,
with his back.
Yeah,
I mean, but I think that this guy's older already than any of those players played, right?
He's like in fucking Blanda territory and shit, dude.
Yes.
Who looked like he was 60 at the same age as
Yeah, I mean,
Brady.
I think Blanda played till he was 47,
But he looked like he was 80 at the
and
end.
you know, they still smoked and drank beer in the locker room and then played. But I think, man, I could have swore I saw, I don't know if it was Schefter or La Camfora who said, like, the headline was Brady plays till 50, question mark. 50?
Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Dude, that's unbearable. That's a lot of Super Bowls I'm not going to watch. Unless the Dolphins are in it. That's the only way.
That'll never happen.
So, you know, that's a little disconcerting. Like, I'm not looking forward to football season just because of that.
I'm not sure who was on Watchmen.
Who?
I'm not sure. He may be watching a little bit behind. I don't know. Dude, have you heard any COVID news, mask news, vaccine news?
Well, let's see. On the mask side, the CDC is starting to lift or change all of their guidance around masks. Basically, I think now if you're fully vaccinated and you're in a room with fully vaccinated people, you don't need to wear a mask.
Or in public places, right?
Yeah, but I mean, how the hell do you tell that?
That's my question.
Yeah.
What do? You just stop them? Hey, wait a second. You don't got a mask on. Are you vaccinated? Do you have your card on you? Oh, no, I left it at home.
I saw that Ohio is going to give people $1 million for vaccinating themselves.
Like a lottery or something?
A lottery, yeah.
Yeah, that makes me suspicious.
I think we're up to about 150 million people now with at least a first dose. The numbers are dropping. It seems to be working from that perspective.
Do you expect a spike now that they're going to relax some of these mask mandates?
That's certainly possible, right?
You would think that that's like absolutely going to happen because, you know, you might get unvaccinated people also stop wearing masks. You would expect a spike. I don't know. I would think.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly a possibility. I would expect it to some degree, but we'll see. I guess as the vaccinated list grows, that may offset itself. And as the herd immunity, because there's two things happening, right? There's people who have gotten it and survived, and then there's people who haven't gotten and are getting vaccinated. And as those numbers increase, you know, it should die out.
And people who've died.
Unfortunately, yes. But, you know, obviously more the people who have gone in and survived and the people who are vaccinated, you know, will reduce the additional spreading, right?
How many people have died in the U.S.? Do you know off the top of your head?
Wasn't it in the 500,000 range?
So that's, you know.
It may be close to 600 now. I don't know.
I'm putting a number on a very sad situation, obviously, but that's 500,000 less people to get it, 500,000 less people to die from it, 500,000 less people that were, you know, probably vulnerable. But I think at this point, everybody who wants the vaccine has gotten it or has an opportunity to get it. It's not like there's not too many people out there that want the vaccine that haven't gotten it.
I don't know about that.
You think there's people that are like, oh shit, I just haven't had a chance?
I think there's still a percentage of that, people that are procrastinators and all that. But
it's got to be small.
Yeah, I would think it's relatively small. And maybe another, I don't know, 1%. I don't know.
Yeah, I would think it's not.
And I guess the real big concern now is the whole, you know, which is something they talked about, right? all of the developing countries and the poor nations, this thing is starting to run rampant in those areas, which means there could be mutations from that could really screw us as we're getting better. If that stuff is not controlled, it runs amok, it mutates, it may hit us in another variant that the vaccine may not cover. That's a big concern.
You know what was weird? You read a lot of these stories and you start thinking about like, what? You know, I read one today that a study shows that Moderna and Pfizer protects pregnant women and does not damage their placenta. What comes to mind when you hear that?
They're releasing that information so pregnant women get vaccinated or feel better about vaccination. Yeah, I don't know of any doctor saying pregnant women should get vaccinated.
Well, they've just released that information, but the first thing I'm thinking is, who the fuck volunteers for this?
You know, what's amazing is that there's constant people that are volunteering for medical trials constantly.
Who volunteers with a baby to have an experimental vaccine that you're not sure? It's got to be somebody who doesn't really care that much about their baby, right?
I remember at the beginning, there were all kinds of people, you know, that were showing that they were volunteering. And, you know, at first I thought, you know, you used to hear in the old days that like indigents would do a lot of those trials, but these were, you know, regular people. Like, I don't know if I would ever, well, I could tell you, I would never sign up for a clinical trial. I mean, I'm sorry. I would do it if there was, like, if I had I had a disease that I had no chance of being treated for, and the clinical trial was a possibility. So yes, that's probably the only scenario.
Granted, I do think that there was, you know, some heroic people, obviously, who maybe were single people, didn't have a family, and, you know, it's a good cause. You know, we needed people. Somebody always got to step up to do that. I'm not that person, obviously, but, you know, there was those people. But the pregnant one really got to me. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is probably somebody who maybe wasn't gonna have that baby. I don't know who does that.
I guess the flip side of this conversation is, you know, immunization in general. And I think I've said this before. This is not something that this is fact. Immunization is like the cornerstone of modern civilization. It's what made us, especially in this country, but in other countries, but mainly in this country, is what made us really excel compared to other countries. You know, way back when you had kids dying at birth, you had polio, you had all these kinds of diseases. And the world was, you know, other countries, it was even worse. People were just dying left and right over, you know, what they call childhood diseases and all that. Mm-hmm. And, you know, once people started to get immunized very early on as kids, all of those childhood diseases went away. I mean, I don't even think, I may have had, as old as I am, I may have had one of the childhood diseases. And the rest, I figure, because of immunization, and your doctors will tell you because of immunization, I never got anything else. And a lot of those diseases completely went away in this country from people, even they were eradicated completely. Polio, measles, things like that. Those things went away.
I got chicken pox when I was a kid, and you rarely even hear about that anymore. Right.
So we know that that's a cornerstone of science and the progression of a modern society. Yet now everybody, and people have been taking these for years, and now people, are really questioning. There's a portion of people that are really skeptical about this, even though they've probably taken 6 or 7 immunizations throughout their life.
Bum, I have to excuse myself for half a minute. Keep going, please, on the immunization. I'll be right back.
Yeah. I don't know if I could talk to myself, though. So, I wonder why those people are kind of thinking about that so deeply now. Is it because, the time that it took for this, vaccine to be put together, and that leads to more distrust? What is it, right? Why suddenly everybody questioning science that's been around for more than 50 years, right? That's kind of a little weird.
Bum?
So I was saying.
Yeah, sorry, I just had to drain the lizard.
So, all of that, all of those immunizations and all that technology that's more than 50 years old has never really been questioned. In fact, it's been considered a lifesaver, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now, I guess because of the quickness that this vaccine was put together, everybody has a theory of why they're skeptical. It's dangerous. It's bad. It's suspicious. So I find that odd, right? And I guess it has to do with maybe the speed that it was created in that is bringing such concern there. But these are probably the same people that have 6 or 7 immunizations in their own bodies right now, and they probably never thought about it as much as they do now. And is that a fault of the media and the conspiracy theories and social media and all that that's heightened that? Or is it truly because, there's information suggesting that this is dangerous, right?
I mean, my main thing with it is that, like, it's not FDA approved yet fully. And then I also have issue with any type of trying to force people to do it at this point. A year or two from now, when there's more information and it's fully approved, then that's a different conversation when you want to have a vaccine passport and all that. That's my issue with it at this point. Like, I don't think you can force people to have it at this point.
I think if they truly force people to do it, that would be bad. Do they highly recommend it? Yeah, but it's not like anybody's knocking at your door and asking for your vaccine passport, and if you say you don't have one, somebody tackles you to the ground and injects you with something. But
at the same time, you do have like 100 universities that are going to mandate that you have it.
Well, private business and everybody's got their right to do whatever, right?
Yeah, it is a private business, absolutely. So they can do whatever they want.
Now, some of those are state-run institutions, right?
Most of these are in California. I think like a third of them.
I would expect that.
Yeah.
And I would expect those people to not have a problem with it.
Probably not. Yeah.
But
the majority probably won't.
It's it's a back and forth there. I look at it this way. If you're going to venture out to some degree, it just makes sense, right? And eventually we're going to have to venture out. Or, I mean, some of us have already done that, right? I mean, I think at this point, I only know one person that truly has not left their house. He's a guy that works at my company. That guy has not come back to work. He doesn't leave his house. He orders everything in. He hasn't seen his friends. I mean, yeah, if you do it like that, if you truly isolate yourself, then I could see why you wouldn't want to take the vaccine. But
Well,
it only takes one person, and if you see more than one person, your chances, start doubling, tripling, whatever.
the more people you see, the more likely. But I think, even the person, that dude that you're talking about right there, his odds have gotten better just because of everybody else who has gotten vaccinated, everybody else who has gotten sick. So in a way, that guy has benefited from how close
Right.
we've gotten to that herd immunity.
Yeah, I don't think I would have I think that's too extreme. If you want to be ultimately safe, that's what you would have to do. But I think that's just too much. That's giving up too much when you don't have to,
By the way, we're 2 months away from the government having to spill the beans on the UFO shit.
Looking forward to that.
Do you think we're gonna get anything?
I'm hoping, man. They've talked and released things like never before. So I'm hoping it can only be more, but it could be a big tease. We'll have to see.
Yeah, hopefully they save something. Hopefully they save something good that they haven't told us yet that we don't know about yet. All right, dude. I think
Wrapping it up.
we're over the 3-hour mark.
We've put a couple of people to sleep by now, I'm sure.
Yeah. It was a good show. Enjoyed the guests tonight. Thank you.
I did.
Phillip
Did like it.
Greenwalt. Love to have him back one day.
Solid.
Interesting guy. And they say you got to write a book, plant a tree, and have a child. And I don't know. Those are like the 3 things you got to do. I don't know if there's other ones. He's done a couple of those already, multiple times, probably. I don't know if he planted any trees, but I'm sure he could get around to it. He's got the book part down, at least. All right, Bum.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Good show, man.
Thanks for joining us, and let's get the fuck out of here. Cheers.